The veil between worlds. Close your eyes and let the real world drift far away. Picture yourself in a small, quiet library where the dust of ages settles on forgotten maps and worn leather books. Long ago, before bright lights covered the sky, people lived much closer to the forest and the dark ocean. They saw things we cannot explain today. They wrote down their fears, not as fairy tales, but as simple, true facts about their neighbours in the dark. Tonight, we will open those old books together. We journey into the hidden archives of history to count down 100 terrifying creatures that science still cannot give a proper name. This is a count of the unclassified, the impossible, and the true stories that whisper beneath your peaceful dreams. Breathe deep now and drift into the hidden force of the unknown. We start where fear first began, among the echoes of the ancient world. Defining the unknown. What we're talking about tonight is very simple. The space between what we know for sure and what we only think we know. When scientists classify a creature, they give it a family name and a first name, like when you name a dog or a cat. The 100 creatures we explore were seen by real people, in real places, and written into history, but they have no scientific name. They exist in the gaps of our knowledge, defying the neat, clean boxes of modern biology. This makes them truly special, and a little bit spooky. The piazza bird. In the American state of Illinois, long before the first Europeans came, a massive picture of a strange beast was painted high on a cliff wall near the great Mississippi River. It had a beard like a goat, horns on its head, and a long tail that wrapped around its body like a snake. The native people called it the piazza, and they treated it with a careful respect mixed with pure terror. When explorers like Father Marquette sailed by in the 1600s, they wrote about this huge picture in their journals. They said it was a monster so frightening that it was impossible to look at without shaking. The strange winged figure was often described as being bigger than a full-grown buffalo, with claws that could carry away a man. Old tales tell of the piazza bird swooping down to snatch people from the riverbanks and carrying them high into the clouds before eating them. These stories were not just local legends, they were warnings. People passing by the cliff would offer gifts, like food or small trinkets, to please the invisible spirit of the great bird and keep it from attacking their canoes. This shows that the fear of this monster was real, not just something told around a warm fire. Today, the original painting is gone, but a modern copy stands where it used to be, reminding us of the terror the ancient people felt. Scientists have looked at the tales and tried to say it was just a big eagle or a drawing of a scary idea, but the descriptions do not match any known animal. The piazza bird remains a strange mix of dragon, cat, and bird, aesest, clear mark left in history by something terrifying that needed a name, but never got one that fit a real-world creature. It guards the river still, but only in our deep history. The Minoan bullman. Far across the ocean, on an island called Crete, people from a very old civilization called the Minoans told stories of a monster known as the Minotaur. This creature was described as having the heavy, muscular body of a man and the large horned head of a bull. It was not a nice creature. Its home was a huge, confusing building called a labyrinth, a maze so tricky and vast that nobody who went inside could ever find their way out again. This tale is more than just a myth for fun. It shows that the idea of a half-human beast was very important to them. While modern science says a creature like this cannot exist, the Minoans built entire sections of their palaces with twists and turns that look exactly like the maze from the story. They decorated their walls with pictures of bulls and people jumping over them, showing a deep connection to this animal. The constant fear of the Minotaur may have been a way to explain something terrible and wild that lived in their world. Maybe a person with a strange medical condition, or perhaps a fierce undiscovered beast that protected an area, gave birth to this powerful, terrifying idea. Even today, when we dig up the old city ruins, the feeling of the maze is real. The Minoan bullman taught people that the greatest dangers are often hidden in plain sight, deep inside structures that look safe. This creature is listed here not just because of the scary story, but because the people who feared it built their whole lives around its legend. It proves that the very real power of the unknown can change the shape of history and architecture. The fear itself was a terrifying, unclassified force that guided their ancient civilization. The Beast of Gévaudan? In the quiet French countryside during the 1760s, a true horrifying event took place that still confuses historians and scientists. A creature, described by hundreds of witnesses, began killing people, mostly women and children, in a pattern that was intelligent and very bloody. It was called the Beast of Gévaudan, and its attacks were so frequent and so strange that the King of France himself sent trained hunters and soldiers to kill it. The creature was often described as being bigger than any wolf, with reddish-brown fur, a huge head, and large sharp teeth. Many hunters killed large wolves during this time and brought them back thinking the horror was over, but the attacks kept happening. The beast seemed to know how to avoid traps and guns, acting with a cunning mind. Some people thought it was a wolf-dog hybrid, a special breed of animal trained by a dark figure, or perhaps an entirely new, massive type of predator that had never been seen before. The records are full of details that rule out a normal wolf, especially the size and the odd reddish colour of its coat. The whole country lived in fear for years because of one powerful, unseen animal. The mystery was never truly solved, even after a large, unusual wolf was killed by a local hunter. The attack stopped, but the description of the beast did not match the animal that was finally brought down. The story of Gévaudan is important because it is not just folklore. It is a documented historical police case about an unclassified apex predator. The fear it caused changed local history and law for decades, proving that the real world can still give birth to monsters that science is powerless to categorize or defeat easily. It remains a dark stain on French history. The Dingonek moving, far from Europe, we look at the rivers of Africa, where people tell quiet stories of a creature called the Dingonek. This beast is described as a giant river cat, but its features are so strange that no known animal comes close to matching it. Imagine a beast with a large leopard-like head, but with a tail that ends in a shape like a deadly fan or a stinger. Even stranger, it is said to have scales all over its body, which is something a cat should never have. The locals fear it deeply, calling it the river dread, because it lives in the dark, muddy depths. The most famous report came from a British explorer named John Alfred Jordan, who claimed to have shot at the animal while travelling along a river in Kenya in the early 1900s. He described it as having massive claws, a cat's face, and a patterned skin that looked like it was covered in armour. He even said it smelled terrible, like a mix of fish and something rotten. Jordan's account was detailed and very serious, telling a tale that suggested a completely new species of water predator was thriving, unknown to the rest of the world. It was powerful enough to scare even a seasoned hunter. The Dingonek is a perfect example of an animal that challenges everything we know about how cats should look and act. It is a creature that seems to take parts from many different groups, cat, snake and fish, and puts them all together in a terrifying mix. Even today, people who live by the remote rivers still warn travellers to watch the water closely, especially when it is dark. They know the river is home to something much older and stranger than any known crocodile or big cat, a terrifying thing that refuses to be placed on a biology chart. The Nandi bear. In the dense, quiet forests and high mountains of East Africa, especially in Kenya, there are many historical reports of a terrifying creature known as the Nandi bear. It is not a true bear, as there are no native bears in that part of the world, which only adds to the mystery. The creature is often described as standing very tall on its hind legs, having a sloped back and moving in a strange, shuffling way. Its colour is usually dark brown or red, and it has a powerful, frightening roar that echoes through the night and freezes the blood of anyone who hears it. Many British colonial officers and settlers, who were used to seeing lions and other big predators, wrote detailed letters and reports about encountering this terrifying beast in the 1900s. They all agreed that it was unlike any hyena or baboon they had ever seen. One theory suggests it might be a huge, unknown type of striped hyena, or perhaps a surviving creature from a time long ago, like a giant chalicother. But none of these easy answers truly fit the many stories told by both locals and foreigners. The fact that it cannot be easily named shows a gap in our knowledge. The Nandi bear has a terrible reputation for attacking livestock, and sometimes people who wander too far from their villages after dark. The local Nandi people tell stories of its powerful claws and its strange, hunched silhouette moving in the moonlight. This creature stands as a lonely historical case of a massive land predator that existed outside of all known biology, confusing hunters and scientists alike for over a century. Its terrifying history is a constant reminder that not all big things in the world have been found and put in a museum. The giant octopus of St. Augustine. In 1896, on a beach near St. Augustine, Florida, a massive, strange lump of decomposing flesh washed ashore. It was too huge and too odd to be any known whale or dolphin. This enormous blob was studied by a famous scientist named Dr. Addison Emery Verrill, who was a leading expert on marine animals at the time. After looking at the tissue, he declared it to be the remains of a new, giant species of octopus, which he named Octopus giganteus. He estimated the original animal could have had arms reaching over 100 feet long. The enormous size of the creature was truly terrifying. It was said to weigh over 6 tons, and its skin was incredibly thick and tough. If Dr. Verrill was correct, this creature would be much larger than any known giant squid or octopus today. Later scientists changed their minds, suggesting the mass was just the remains of a large whale's blubber or fat. However, the original report by the world-class expert clearly stated it was muscle tissue and not fat, which kept the mystery alive for over a century. The initial clear finding is what makes this fact so spooky. The St. Augustine globster, as these strange blobs are now called, proves that the ocean holds secrets that just wash up on our shores sometimes, defying all our easy explanations. This creature was once real and physical. It had a body that touched the beach. If it was truly a massive octopus, then an enormous unclassified predator is swimming in the deep waters off the coast of Florida, and we still have not found a live one. This piece of history remains one of the most chilling and tangible facts about the unknown things in our ocean. The Loveland Frogman. In the quiet town of Loveland, Ohio in the 1950s and again in the 1970s, 2 separate police officers reported encounters with a very strange and impossible creature. The first officer saw a 3 to 4 foot tall figure that looked like a large frog, but it was walking on 2 legs like a person. It had a strange, wide mouth, and its skin was described as leathery and wet. The creature held a thin, stick-like object in its hand, which it quickly lifted as if to protect itself before leaping over a guardrail and disappearing down a dark road. The second officer, years later, also reported seeing the creature on the side of the road. He was so surprised that he accidentally hit the strange figure with his car. When he stopped to check, he saw a creature that fit the original description, frog-like, standing up and with strange round eyes. The creature quickly jumped back up and scurried into the ditch and the dark, thick weeds, disappearing instantly into the night. Both officers were trained professionals who gave very similar, detailed accounts of what they had seen, which adds weight to the terrifying facts. Scientists say that amphibians, like frogs, cannot grow that large and cannot walk on 2 legs like a person. Yet, this is exactly what 2 different, serious witnesses reported in the same small area decades apart. The Loveland Frogman is a creature that defies basic biology, existing as a documented police report and local history, even if it cannot be classified as a real animal. It suggests that some bizarre cold-blooded humanoid may live in the dark corners of quiet American towns, hiding in the shadows of the suburbs and waiting to be seen again. The lizard man of Scapaw Swamp in a lonely dark swamp area of South Carolina called Scapaw, a terrifying creature was reported multiple times in 1988, causing local panic. A young man named Christopher Davis claimed the creature attacked his car. He said it was 7 feet tall, covered in green scales, and had 3 fingers on each hand. He managed to drive away, but he looked back to see the creature leaping with impossible speed, covering ground like a huge kangaroo, following him right down the road toward his home. Soon after, police found strange, deep scratch marks on the side of Davis's car, proving that something big and strong had indeed attacked the vehicle. The creature was soon named the Lizard Man, and other reports quickly followed. People reported seeing large bipedal reptiles moving through the thick, muddy swamp water. This creature did not just appear and disappear. It left behind evidence of its powerful strength and terrifying, aggressive nature, something a simple hoax cannot easily explain or repeat. The fear became very real in that quiet part of the state. The Lizard Man is a modern case of an ancient fear, a large, intelligent reptile walking upright among us. Biology states that large, warm-blooded, intelligent reptiles like this are a thing of the dinosaur past, but the history of scape or swamp suggests otherwise. This creature remains one of the most famous and persistent modern cryptids, forcing us to ask if evolution might have a few surprises waiting in the darkest, wettest parts of the country. The deep swamp still holds its secrets, refusing to give up the creature that lives in its thick, dark mud. A historical oil painting on canvas, inspired by early 20th century hand-coloured photographs. Painterly brushstrokes, subtle textures, muted tones, vintage atmosphere, artistic and authentic, museum quality. A terrifying 7-foot-tall reptilian creature covered in mottled green scales, standing in a dark, muddy swamp. It has 3 long fingers and is looking aggressively toward the viewer. Neg photo, photography, CGI, render, 3D, Pixar, the Mongolian deathworm. In the huge, desolate Gobi Desert of Mongolia, the local people tell stories of a terrifying giant worm called the Olgoi Korkoi, or the Mongolian deathworm. They describe it as a thick, sausage-shaped creature, often bright red, that can grow to be 5 feet long. The most terrifying part is that this animal is said to kill its prey not by biting, but by spitting a terrible, corrosive acid, or even by shooting out a powerful, paralyzing bolt of electricity from its body, making it a truly unclassified monster. These stories are very old and deeply respected in the local culture. Explorers and scientists who have ventured into the Gobi Desert have heard these tales and tried to find the creature, but none have succeeded in capturing one. The locals say the worm lives deep beneath the hot sandy surface and rarely comes out, except during the hottest parts of the year. This suggests an animal that is perfectly adapted to the most extreme environments, one that has managed to avoid human contact for all of recorded history. The vastness of the desert is its terrifying ally. If the Mongolian deathworm is real, it would represent a completely unknown type of large terrestrial invertebrate, with abilities that defy all known animal biology, especially the ability to use electricity or acid offensively. It is a terrifying historical record of a creature that belongs on an alien planet, not our own. The story of the deathworm reminds us that the vast empty places of the world still hold secrets far stranger and deadlier than we can imagine, lurking beneath the quiet, endless dunes of sand. The Flatwoods Monster. In 1952, in the small mountain town of Flatwoods, West Virginia, a group of children and adults saw a strange light fall from the sky and land on a local hill. When they went to investigate, they saw a massive creature standing over 10 feet tall. Witnesses described a figure with a glowing red face that seemed to pulse, and a dark body that looked metallic. Even more terrifying was the strange, terrible, sickening smell that filled the air, making some of the witnesses immediately sick to their stomachs. The creature was said to have a cowl or hood around its head, making it look like a terrifying, silent figure in a giant dress. It moved in a strange, floating way, and when the witnesses ran away in pure panic, they saw the strange light on the hill shoot back up into the sky. The soil where the creature stood was tested by a local journalist, who found an oily, unknown residue that added to the deep mystery. This event was not a simple sighting. It was a physical encounter with a creature that brought with it physical side effects and unexplained residue. The Flatwoods Monster is an example of an unclassified creature that crosses the line between a simple beast and something much stranger, perhaps something not of this world. Scientists have tried to explain it away as a misidentified owl sitting on a tree branch, but the detailed historical accounts, the size, the smell, and the strange metallic appearance do not match a bird. It is a terrifying reminder that the most puzzling anomalies can appear anywhere, at any time, leaving behind a wake of fear and confusion that history still struggles to understand fully. The Cadborosaurus, Caddy. Along the cold, misty Pacific coast of North America, especially near Vancouver Island, sailors and fishermen have shared sightings for over a century of a giant sea serpent called the Cadborosaurus, or Caddy for short. It is described as having a long, thin neck, a head like a horse or camel, and a body with many humps that move up and down through the water in a strange vertical wave. Hundreds of people have seen this creature, including scientists and government officials, all agreeing it is not a whale, a seal, or any known shark. The most compelling piece of history came in 1937, when a very strange creature was found inside the stomach of a dead sperm whale. Fishermen removed a small unknown creature that looked exactly like the descriptions of Caddy, a serpent with flippers, a horse-like head, and strange bony plates. They photographed it, but the carcass was unfortunately lost before full scientific study could be completed. This physical evidence, though now gone, served as a powerful reminder that an unknown, large aquatic reptile might truly exist in the busy coastal waters of the world. Scientists struggle to classify Caddy because no known reptile or mammal fits the description. If it is real, it would represent a surviving creature from the time of the dinosaurs, a plesiosaur, or an entirely new massive marine mammal that lives deep beneath the waves. The people who live on the coast take the reports very seriously, knowing that the water is home to a creature that only shows its rolling, dark humps when the conditions are quiet and misty. Caddy remains a mysterious, terrifying ghost of the deep, often seen but never caught or fully explained by science. The Tasmanian globster. On the coast of Tasmania, a large island south of Australia, a huge, unidentifiable mass washed ashore in 1960. Like the St. Augustine globster, this was a massive, white, fleshy mound that did not look like any known animal. It was 12 feet wide and 18 feet long, weighing several tons. When scientists tried to figure out what it was, they were completely confused. The tissue was strange, unlike that of any whale or seal, and it had no bones, eyes, or internal organs that made sense. At first, scientists suggested it was a very large cuttlefish or maybe a giant ray, but the tissue structure did not match. It was eventually classified as just a lump of blubber, which is an easy way to explain something unexplainable. However, later studies of samples showed that the creature had a very high amount of a specific type of protein that is not found in whale blubber, which brought the mystery right back to the surface. This physical evidence remains locked in a lab, forever defying a simple explanation. The Tasmanian globster reminds us that the vast empty southern oceans are a breeding ground for unknown life. For a creature to grow so large and yet remain completely unknown to science, it must live incredibly deep and far from humans. If this mass came from a monster, then a terrifying, colossal, unclassified animal is swimming in the quiet dark beneath the waves, a beast that is soft and boneless but large enough to weigh as much as a small bus. This is the simple, chilling fact of the deep. The Hook Island sea monster. In 1964, a photographer named Robert Laserick and his family were on Hook Island, off the coast of Australia, when they spotted a terrifying creature resting in the shallow, clear water. It was a massive tadpole-like creature, estimated to be 75 feet long, with a dark, smooth body and a small, pointed tail. The creature was stationary at first, and the photographer was able to take several clear pictures that have since become famous historical records of the unknown. As the family approached the creature to get a better look, the massive monster opened its mouth, which appeared to be a huge white slit in its dark head, and slowly began to move toward them. They quickly went back to their boat in panic, watching the enormous dark shape slowly glide away into the deeper dark blue water of the bay. The creature had no visible eyes, no fins that were easy to see, and a completely smooth skin that made it look like a terrifying living piece of soft, dark rock. This monster is one of the most puzzling of all aquatic mysteries because the photographs are so clear. The creature does not match any known species of eel, whale, or shark. It is too large and too strangely shaped to be easily dismissed, suggesting that a creature resembling a giant, ancient larval form of some massive, unknown animal exists in the quiet waters of the Great Barrier Reef. This historical photo set forces us to consider that something truly alien in its biology is hiding just beneath the surface, waiting in the deep blue. The Lake Tianchi Monster High in the remote Changbai Mountains between China and North Korea sits Lake Tianchi, a very deep crater lake that formed in an ancient volcano. Since the 1960s, there have been many reports of a massive creature living in its cold, dark waters. Witnesses describe a large, dark beast with a long neck and a head that looks like it belongs to a cow or a deer, often seen breaking the surface of the water before quickly sinking again. The lake is so high up and so cold that it shouldn't be able to support large life. The most famous sighting was in 2003, when a Chinese government worker filmed a mysterious dark shape moving through the water for nearly 2 minutes. Though the video is blurry, it clearly shows something long and dark swimming against the usual currents, an object much too large to be a normal fish or a diving bird. The local people have old stories about a river dragon living in the lake, a beast that brings bad fortune to anyone who sees it. The cold, clear water hides a truth that our scientific surveys cannot reach. The Lake Tianchi monster is a perfect cold water parallel to creatures like Nessie, but located in one of the most closed-off and untouched places on Earth. If a large, unclassified animal lives here, it means we must completely rethink how life can survive and evolve in extreme environments, far from the warming effects of the ocean. This creature is a quiet, powerful mystery locked inside the crater of an old sleeping mountain, a secret guarded by the sheer size and freezing depth of the water. The Van Meter Visitor. In 1903, in the small town of Van Meter, Iowa, several highly respected residents reported a terrifying series of encounters over multiple nights with a strange winged creature. The beast was described as a large humanoid figure with smooth skin, bat-like wings, and a single, sharp horn on its forehead. Most bizarrely, the creature gave off a brilliant white light from its head, and sometimes from its wings, which lit up the night sky like a huge moving lantern. This detail makes it unlike any normal animal. The creature was said to jump or glide from the roof of the local bank to the top of the general store, moving with impossible speed. Local citizens armed with rifles tried to shoot the beast, but their bullets seemed to have no effect on its body. The creature would often land and then seem to disappear in a flash of bright light, adding to the unclassified mystery. This was not a simple fear. It was a clear, shared historical event, widely reported in local newspapers at the time, leaving a permanent mark on the town's quiet history. The Van Meter Visitor defies classification, mixing the qualities of a flying mammal with elements of technology or something even stranger. The bright light and the bulletproof skin suggest an animal that is not from this world, or perhaps a completely unknown type of biological organism that generates its own energy. After a week of panic and sightings, the creature simply vanished and was never seen again. Its brief, intense appearance remains one of the most chilling and inexplicable facts in early American history. The Trunco, in 1924, a massive, strange white creature washed ashore on a beach near Margate, South Africa, after a violent fight with 2 orcas that lasted for hours. Witnesses said the strange animal was covered in thick white fur, had a long elephant-like trunk on its head, and had no recognizable head or eyes. The body was said to be 10 feet wide and looked like a massive, unclassified aquatic animal. The local newspaper quickly named the creature Trunco because of its strange nose. The description is almost impossible to imagine, a polar bear-like creature with a trunk fighting killer whales off the coast of Africa. The body was left on the beach for 10 days, and nobody was able to properly measure it or study it before the tide finally pulled it back out to sea, leaving only the terrifying stories and a few blurred photographs. Some scientists have suggested it was just the badly decomposed body of a large, rare basking shark, but the descriptions of white fur and a long trunk do not match a shark. Trunco remains a powerful historical argument for unknown life in the deep oceans. For a creature this huge to fight 2 orcas and then wash ashore with such impossible features, it proves that there are parts of marine biology we simply do not know about. This is one of the most visually shocking facts in cryptid history. A creature that came from the water showed us its impossible shape and then returned to the dark, leaving behind a terrifying, unsolved puzzle in the quiet history of a seaside town. The Almas willed man. The remote, harsh mountains of Central Asia, especially in Mongolia and Russia, have persistent historical accounts of a wild, ape-like man known as the Alma or Almas. Unlike the huge, ape-like creatures of North America, the Alma is described as being much shorter and more human-like, closer to a Neanderthal, a species of early human we thought was long extinct. Witnesses say it is covered in reddish-brown hair, has a powerful build, and moves with impossible speed over rocky terrain. There are historical records of the Alma being caught and even kept by local villagers in the 19th century. One famous account involves a wild female named Zana, who was captured in the Caucasus Mountains. Reports describe her as having ape-like features but a fully human shape. She was never tamed and remained wild, but she lived among people for many years. This suggests not just an unclassified animal, but possibly a surviving line of early wild humans that science has missed entirely. If the Alma is real, it means the history books are wrong about when and how early human species disappeared. This terrifying possibility of a living Neanderthal roaming the harsh Asian steppes is a profound challenge to all of biology and anthropology. The creature's continued existence in remote high-altitude regions proves that some of the greatest secrets are held not in deep oceans, but in the lonely, unmapped places where civilization has never fully taken hold. This living history continues to be seen today. The Ropen. On the remote island of New Guinea, the local people tell stories of a massive nocturnal flying creature called the Ropen. They describe it as a huge animal with bat-like wings that stretch up to 20 feet across, a long tail, and most strangely a thin crest or spike on its head. Most terrifyingly, they say the creature glows with a faint light as it flies through the dark jungle sky at night, a feature impossible for any known flying animal. It lives deep within the high mountain peaks. Expeditions have gone to the islands to investigate the Ropen, with some modern explorers claiming to have witnessed the glowing light. The local people are convinced it is a living dinosaur, a pterosaur, a massive flying reptile we thought died out 65 million years ago. The description of its wings, tail and crest is exactly like the historical records of the pterosaur. The creature is also associated with grave robbing, often seen near cemeteries, adding a terrifying supernatural element to its history. The Ropen presents a simple, chilling question. Did a massive flying reptile survive extinction and adapt to the dark, remote jungles? If this creature is real, it completely changes the timeline of life on Earth, proving that the remote tropical islands are the last archives for the world's most impossible secrets. Its reported ability to glow suggests a terrifying, unclassified biological process that scientists cannot yet explain. It remains a massive, shadowy challenge flying high above the quiet jungle canopy. The Alman of Mornan. In the quiet English county of Cornwall in the 1970s, a strange, terrifying creature began appearing near the local church of Mornan Smith. It was quickly named the Owlman. Witnesses, primarily young women, described a creature the size of a man, with huge, pointed owl-like ears, large red eyes, and massive wings. It was often seen either hovering silently over the church tower or flying low over the nearby trees, terrifying everyone who saw its silent, sudden appearance. The Owlman is often compared to the Mothman because it is a flying humanoid that appears in a small area and causes immense panic. The historical accounts are frighteningly consistent, describing the large claws on its feet and the way it seemed to drop down from the sky, as if it were simply observing people from above. Some suggested it was a large, misidentified eagle, but the sheer size and the humanoid stance rule out any known bird of prey. It seemed to have an intelligent, watching presence. The quiet, ancient stone church and the remote setting add to the creature's terrifying mystique. The Owlman is a perfect example of how old fears, the idea of a watchful, silent presence in the dark sky, can take on a new, strange form in the modern age. This creature is unclassified because it mixes animal features with a human form in a way that biology cannot explain. A living piece of dark folklore that refuses to go away and is cemented forever in the history of that quiet English seaside. The Dover Demon. In 1977, in the quiet town of Dover, Massachusetts, 3 teenagers, driving home late at night, had a terrifying encounter with a creature that remains completely unclassified. They described a figure that was about 4 feet tall, with a huge watermelon-shaped head and long, thin limbs. It had glowing orange eyes and a skin that was rough and peach-coloured. Most terrifyingly, it had no nose, no mouth, and no hair. It was a truly alien, impossible form that defied all human description. The creature was seen crouched on a stone wall near a dark, wooded area. The teenagers who saw it were very shaken and gave detailed, consistent accounts of the creature's strange, thin fingers and its small, muscular body. Another young witness saw a similar creature later that night, also reporting the large, strange head and the glowing eyes. The quick, short bursts of sightings cemented this creature in the town's history as a real event, even if no physical evidence was ever recovered. The Dover demon is a creature that defies all terrestrial biology. It does not fit the description of an ape man, a lizard man, or an unknown mammal. It seems to belong to an entirely different kingdom of life. Scientists have never been able to offer a plausible explanation for what the teens saw, turning the creature into an unsolvable puzzle. The demon is a terrifying reminder that the unknown doesn't always come in the shape of a monster. Sometimes it comes in the shape of something small, fragile, and utterly alien. The Buru. In the isolated mountains of Arunachal Pradesh, a region of India, there are historical reports of a terrifying creature called the Buru. This beast is described as a large reptile, almost like a monitor lizard, but with a massive snake-like body and a head that looks like it belongs to a crocodile. The creature is said to live in the deep remote swamps and to have been seen up until the 1940s, when a massive earthquake seemed to make them vanish forever. The local Apatani people recount a terrifying history of the Buru, claiming the creatures were so large and so numerous that they had to work together to hunt them to extinction, burning the deepest swamp areas to make them leave. The Buru was a real, living and aggressive threat to the villagers. The description suggests a creature that should have died out with the dinosaurs, a surviving Mesozoic reptile that adapted to mountain swamps, proving that many strange things lived much longer than we thought. The story of the Buru is a powerful historical record of human conflict with an unclassified apex predator. The local tribe's belief in its existence and their efforts to destroy it show a profound truth. They were dealing with something real, large, and terrifying that was not listed in any known natural history book. Today, the swamps are quiet, but the historical fear remains a fact. A large-scaled monster once ruled these distant dark waters, refusing to be classified until it was hunted away. The sea monk. In the 16th century, fishermen off the coast of Denmark and Poland caught a very strange creature that they named the sea monk. This animal was described as looking exactly like a huge, pale fish, but with a head that resembled a monk wearing a hooded robe. The accounts were written down by serious naturalists and historians of the time, who drew pictures of the strange creature, showing its smooth, pale skin and its wide, fish-like tail. This was a clear historical encounter with an unknown life form. The sea monk was supposedly brought to the attention of the King of Poland, but it was unable to speak or make any sound that resembled human speech. When it was thrown back into the water, it was said to quickly dive beneath the waves, never to be seen again. Some scientists believe the sea monk was just a strange, giant squid, or maybe a seal that had developed strange skin problems, but the persistent descriptions of its human-like face and hood make these explanations feel too simple and weak. This creature is one of the most compelling examples of a historical anomaly that completely baffled experts of the time. The idea of a fish that looks exactly like a person in a robe is terrifying and impossible by today's biology standards. Yet, the sea monk is locked into the historical records as a real creature that was seen, touched, and drawn by people across northern Europe. It stands as a chilling fact that the ocean can produce life so strange that it mocks our very idea of what a creature can be. The Agogwe. In the remote, dense forests of East Africa, local people tell stories of a small, ape-like creature called the Agogwe. It is described as only 3 to 5 feet tall, covered in reddish-brown hair, and most importantly, it walks completely upright on 2 legs, like a small, tiny man. This is a very different description from the shambling, large ape men like Bigfoot. The Agogwe is often described as quick, agile, and very human in its movements, making it a truly unique creature. In the 1920s, a British colonial officer named Cuthbert Burgoyne reported seeing 2 of these small, upright, hairy creatures walking through a jungle clearing with a definite purpose. They were completely unafraid of him, and walked past quickly, confirming the local stories. His account, written down and published in a serious journal, shows that these creatures were not just folklore, but real-world sightings by trained observers who struggled to classify what they had seen. The small size makes them especially puzzling. The Agogwe, if real, would represent a tiny unknown species of ape, or possibly a surviving hominid, a type of small, upright human ancestor we thought went extinct long ago. Its quiet, fast movement and small size have allowed it to avoid being captured or photographed, keeping it hidden in the dense green jungle for centuries. This small, mysterious creature is a powerful, tiny historical argument for a separate, unclassified line of evolution, a secret hidden in the deep, quiet shadows of the African forest. The Yowie. In the vast, rugged outback and dense forests of Australia, the history of a large, ape-like creature known as the Yowie goes back to the earliest times of the native Aboriginal people. They describe a giant, hairy, shy creature that walks upright on two legs, similar to the North American Bigfoot, but with its own unique traits and history. Thousands of sightings have been recorded across the huge continent, from the thick rainforests of Queensland to the dry, lonely mountains of the interior. European settlers began reporting the Yowie almost immediately upon arrival in the 1700s, often describing a massive, aggressive beast that left behind strange, large footprints in the mud and dust. Unlike some accounts of Bigfoot, the Yowie is often described as being very muscular and capable of throwing huge rocks and breaking thick branches with ease, showing impossible strength. The persistence of these historical accounts across such a huge landmass suggests a large, thriving population of an unclassified primate. The Yowie is a true historical mystery that stretches back for hundreds of years, an animal that simply does not fit into Australia's unique biology, as there are no native great apes there. If this creature is real, it must have travelled to Australia long ago and evolved into this unique, powerful, hairy giant, a beast that is too smart and too strong to be caught. It is a lonely, terrifying presence in the quiet, empty wildness of the Australian bush, a ghost of prehistory that still walks among us. The Michigan Dogman. Along the quiet, dark paths of Michigan, a terrifying creature known as the Dogman has been seen since 1887. The first account was a detailed report by two lumberjacks who saw a creature that looked exactly like a huge, upright wolf, walking on two legs like a man. It was 7 feet tall, with burning yellow eyes, a low canine head, and massive claws. Its appearance is so consistent and so strange that it has been permanently written into the local history and folklore. The sighting spiked again in the 1980s, when a detailed song about the creature was played on a local radio station, leading many people to call in with their own terrifying true stories. Witnesses describe a creature that is aggressive, fast, and very intelligent, often seen near remote farms and quiet wooded areas at night. The physical description rules out a simple wolf or a large bear, as its build and movement are unmistakably humanoid, yet clearly canine. The creature feels like something pulled from a nightmare. The Michigan Dogman is a terrifying hybrid that science cannot classify. It forces us to ask if a completely unknown line of canid has evolved the ability to walk upright, or if it is something much more ancient and primal. Its continuous presence in the historical record over more than a century proves that something big and wolf-like is moving silently in the state's quiet, dark woods. This creature is a powerful, unclassified link between the animals we know and the monsters we fear most in the dark. The Beast of Bray Road. Another famous Midwestern canine anomaly is the Beast of Bray Road, seen in rural Wisconsin in the 1990s and continuing to the present day. This creature is also described as a large, hairy, canine-like beast that walks on two legs. Its head is low and wolf-like, and it is usually covered in dark brown or grey shaggy hair. Witnesses often see it on the lonely, unpaved Bray Road, causing immediate panic and car accidents as drivers try to avoid the horrifying sight. The Beast of Bray Road sightings were so frequent and so consistent that they were investigated by local police and reporters. Witnesses described an animal that looked like a very heavy, massive version of a werewolf from a movie, a creature with enormous muscle mass and a shocking, upright stance. Unlike the Michigan Dogman, the Beast of Bray Road often runs on all fours, then suddenly rises up to its full height, startling drivers and showing its immense size and terrifying power in a single moment. This creature remains unclassified because it does not fit the profile of a wolf, bear, or any known hybrid. It is a creature that seems to break the laws of nature by mixing canine biology with bipedal movement. The persistent reports from a small, isolated area of Wisconsin cement the Beast of Bray Road as a terrifying modern fact, a creature that is real enough to cause major documented panic. The truth is walking on two legs, hairy and hungry, down a lonely dirt road in the American Midwest. The Waheela. In the far, quiet northern territories of Canada and Alaska, a terrifying creature known as the Waheela has been feared by native tribes for centuries. It is described as an enormous, pure white wolf, but far more massive and powerful than any known species. It is said to hunt alone, and its most terrifying trait is its ability to follow people silently for days, waiting for the perfect moment to attack with incredible focused fury. It is known as the ghost wolf of the cold lands. The Waheela is not a typical wolf. Its body is massive and stocky, almost bear-like, and its tracks are said to be huge and round, not slender like a normal wolf print. These characteristics have led scientists to suggest it might be a surviving direwolf, a massive species that went extinct thousands of years ago. The terrifying historical accounts from trappers and explorers all describe an animal that acts with an unnatural intelligence, stalking and killing in silence and leaving behind no witnesses. This white giant is an unclassified predator that rules the quiet, frozen landscape. If it is a surviving dire wolf, it means that a large forgotten species is thriving in the most remote parts of the world, hiding in the endless snow and ice. The Waheela is a powerful symbol of the raw, untouched wildness of the North, a ghost of history that proves that the coldest places on Earth are still capable of hiding the largest and most terrifying secrets from our history books. The Pope Lick Monster, near Louisville, Kentucky, stands an old, tall train trestle where locals tell a terrifying, sad story of a creature called the Pope Lick Monster. This beast is described as a human-goat hybrid, a creature with the body of a man but with furry legs, large horns, and a dark, malevolent face. The story says the creature uses its strange voice to lure people onto the active train tracks, hoping they will be killed by the fast-moving trains that pass overhead. This creature is listed here because its story has led to real-world historical incidents, where people, driven by curiosity or fear, have been tragically killed by trains while exploring the tracks. The monster's power is not just in its appearance, but in its ability to manipulate human fear. The local lore claims the monster is the result of a dark curse or a lonely half-human beast who simply wants company in the worst possible way, luring victims with a comforting, gentle call. The Pope Lick Monster is a horrifying example of a folktale that has taken on a terrifying life of its own, cementing itself in the local history with tragic real consequences. While scientists dismiss it as folklore, the persistent, consistent description of the creature and the history of the trestle remain powerful facts. This unclassified humanoid goat is a reminder that the spaces where man and nature meet can often give birth to the most psychologically disturbing and dangerous mysteries in history. The hodag. In the northern woods of Wisconsin, local history is dominated by the tale of the hodag, a truly terrifying and bizarre creature. It was first reported in 1893 by a lumberman who claimed to have captured one. The creature was described as having the head of a frog, the body of a large dark dog, thick short legs with massive claws, and a long tail ending in a spear. To top it off, it was said to have sharp green spines running down its back and to breathe fire and smoke from its huge nose. The lumberman, named Gene Shepherd, created a fake hodag out of carved wood and cowhide and put it on display at county fairs, charging money for people to see the terrifying beast. While this particular animal was a clear fake, the story itself was rooted in deeper local folklore about strange, wild beasts in the logging camps. The level of detail and fear surrounding the original accounts proves that something was seen in those dark woods that needed a terrifying, fantastical name to explain it. The hodag, despite its theatrical history, represents the deep historical fear of the unknown, beasts lurking in the American wilderness. This creature is unclassified because it mixes so many impossible features: a frog's head, dog's body, and the ability to breathe smoke. It is a terrifying Frankenstein's monster of the woods, Its story is a permanent fact in the state's history, a creature that proves sometimes the most frightening things are created in the human mind to explain the very real and large sounds heard in the silent, empty night. The skunk ape. In the hot, humid swamps of Florida and the surrounding southern states, a large ape-like creature known as the skunk ape is sighted consistently. It is described as standing 6 to 7 feet tall, covered in long, dark hair, and moving with the slow, powerful stride of a large primate. Its most distinguishing, terrifying feature is the foul, sickening odour it gives off, which smells like rotten eggs and swamp gas combined, a smell that can be detected from hundreds of feet away. The swamps of the south are huge, dense, and largely unexplored, providing the perfect hidden archives for a creature this large. Reports go back to the 19th century, with indigenous tribes and early settlers alike recording encounters with a massive, hairy giant. The odour is consistently reported across every sighting, suggesting a unique biological defence mechanism, or perhaps a diet that is truly strange. This consistency across a vast historical timeline makes the skunk ape one of the most compelling regional mysteries. In 2000, 2 photographs were anonymously sent to a sheriff's department in Florida, showing a massive ape-like creature crouching in a swamp. These photographs, taken by a tourist, quickly became famous, offering the clearest modern historical evidence of this creature. The skunk ape is unclassified because no known great ape lives in North America. Its continued existence in the hot, muddy depths proves that the quiet swamps still hold a terrifying, smelly secret, a massive primate that science cannot catch or name. Breathe deep and let the shadows soften around you. We're only 30 facts into this deep dive, but already the archives have shown us so many impossible things. If you find peace and wonder in these forgotten histories and strange mysteries, drift deeper into our channel by subscribing now. Tap that little bell to make sure you won't miss the next journey into the dark secrets that history holds. Share this story with a friend who finds comfort in the quiet unknown. The Tsuchinoko. In Japan, the rural people have very old and consistent reports of a strange unclassified serpent called the Tsuchinoko. This creature is described as a short, thick snake, much shorter than a normal snake, but with a body that is much wider in the middle, making it look like a small, fat bottle. It is said to be able to jump over 6 feet in the air and, most terrifyingly, to roll by biting its own tail and moving like a tire across the ground. The creature is often aggressive and venomous, and its presence is seen as a sign of bad luck by the local farmers. The historical accounts stretch back hundreds of years, and the Japanese government has even offered a large reward for anyone who can capture a live one, proving the official interest in this unclassified animal. Biologists say a snake cannot physically jump or roll in the way the Tsuchinoko is described, which only deepens the mystery and the historical facts. The Tsuchinoko is a small, terrifying creature that hides in plain sight in the quiet fields of Japan. It is a creature that defies the simple rules of serpentine movement, proving that some animals have evolved in ways we cannot yet imagine. This fat, jumping snake is a powerful piece of local history, a persistent fact that an unknown reptile is slithering through the quiet rice paddies and dark hills, waiting to be found and finally given a proper scientific name, the Jersey Devil. In the remote pine barrens of New Jersey, the history of the Jersey Devil stretches back over 250 years, making it one of America's oldest and most terrifying facts. It is described as a kangaroo-like creature that walks upright with a goat's head, huge dark bat wings, and a forked tail. The creature is said to have been born to a local woman in the 1700s who was so angry about having another child that she cursed it, resulting in the birth of the monster. The fear became very real in 1909 when thousands of people reported sightings of the creature across southern New Jersey and Pennsylvania in a single week. Schools were closed, businesses shut down, and the police were overwhelmed by calls. Witnesses reported hearing its terrifying, blood-curdling scream at night and seeing its shadowy silhouette flying over quiet towns. The panic was a major historical event, proving the terrifying power of this unclassified, impossible beast. The Jersey Devil is a creature that blends so many impossible features that it completely defies biological classification. It is a chilling record of a winged, goat-headed biped that science simply cannot explain away as a normal animal. The vast, dark pine barrens offer the perfect hidden place for this monster to hide. A terrifying fact that a creature of pure darkness and mixed-up biology is still flying silently over the quiet, dark towns of the East Coast. Its dark history continues to this day. The Ahul. In the dense volcanic jungles of Java, a massive, terrifying creature is said to fly silently through the deep, dark night. It is called the Ahul, named after its shocking, deep call that sounds like Ahul, Ahul. The creature is described as a giant bat, but with a wingspan of over 12 feet, a massive size that is far too large for any known species of flying mammal. It is often seen flying low over the riverbanks, grabbing large fish and small animals with its huge claws. The most famous sighting was in 1925 by a Dutch naturalist named Dr. Ernest Bartels. While exploring, deep in the jungle he heard the creature's strange loud call, which was completely new to him. When he looked up, he saw the enormous dark shape of the Ahul flying silently above him, confirming the local tales. The terrifying size and the unique call prove that something unknown is flying through the deepest quiet jungles of Indonesia, an animal that has managed to avoid science for centuries. The Ahul is an unclassified flying giant that challenges our knowledge of how big a bat can truly grow. If a creature with a 12-foot wingspan is living in the dense canopy, it means the jungles are holding a giant secret that evolution was not supposed to create. This silent, massive flyer is a historical fact that the darkest corners of the world are still archives for impossible creatures, waiting for the dark of night to silently hunt and remind us of the terrifying power of the unknown. The Amelanatuka. In the remote, deep swamp regions of the Republic of Congo, local pygmy tribes tell stories of a massive, aggressive animal called the Amelanatuka, which means killer of elephants. It is described as being rhinoceros-sized, dark brown, and having a single massive horn on its head. Most terrifyingly, it is said to be a powerful reptile with thick, scaly skin, a long crocodilian tail, and a love for attacking large animals like elephants and buffaloes in the muddy water. The description is so consistent that scientists believe it might be a surviving species of a giant ancient reptile called a ceratopsian, a type of dinosaur that we thought died out long ago. The historical accounts are frighteningly similar across many different separated tribes, all describing the same aggression and physical form. Expeditions have been sent into the swamps to find this beast, but the area is so vast and so remote that the creature always manages to escape detection, remaining a ghost in the thick mud. The Amelanatuka is an aggressive, terrifying historical fact that a large horned reptile may still be living in the deep African swamps. If it truly is a surviving dinosaur, it completely changes our understanding of extinction and the secret life of the jungle. This creature is unclassified because it is a living fossil, a powerful, aggressive beast that proves the heart of Africa is the greatest archive of the unknown, holding creatures too big and too fierce to be easily found. Megalodon, modern sightings. While the megalodon, a massive shark that was far bigger than a bus, is scientifically known to have gone extinct millions of years ago, there are many modern historical sightings and accounts that suggest a few of these titans may still be alive in the deepest parts of the ocean. Sailors and deep-sea workers report massive, toothy shadows under their ships, shadows that are too huge and too powerful to be any known great white shark. In the 19th century, hardened fossilized shark teeth, known to belong only to the megalodon, were found by sailors attached to deep-sea cables, suggesting that the creature that shed the teeth was alive recently enough to be swimming around the cables. These accounts from serious, trained professionals are terrifying because they show that a predator of impossible size may be hiding in the blackness below the known depth of the ocean. This giant shadow has managed to completely escape modern science. The thought of the megalodon surviving and hunting in the deep ocean is one of the most terrifying facts in marine history. It means that the biggest, most aggressive predator to ever live may still be down there, quietly feeding on whales and other large life, waiting to be found. This creature is unclassified in the modern sense because science insists it is extinct, but the historical accounts and physical evidence suggest a terrifying living truth. The largest killer shark is still out there, hiding in the dark, the Altamaha along the quiet dark rivers and swamps of Georgia, a creature known as the Altamaha, or Alti, has been a persistent part of local history since the time of the native Muskogee people. It is described as a large, long, grey-green creature with a smooth skin, a long neck, and a powerful serpentine body. It is often seen moving with a strange twisting motion in the muddy water, often near the deep, dark banks of the Altamaha River. Hundreds of people have reported seeing Alti, including government workers and boat captains. The descriptions are always the same: a creature that is too big to be a large fish and too smooth to be a crocodile. The creature is often said to be very shy, disappearing quickly when people approach. The historical accounts are so strong that the local community has embraced the mystery, but the question of what this creature is remains completely unsolved by science. The Altamaha is an unclassified freshwater serpent, a historical anomaly that suggests a giant, unknown species of aquatic life is living in the murky river systems of the southern United States. Its ability to thrive in a busy modern area proves that creatures can hide even where people live. This smooth, silent swimmer is a terrifying living piece of deep local history, a creature that has refused to be found or classified by the scientific community for centuries, a hidden king of the quiet, dark river. The Wampus Cat. In the history and folklore of the Appalachian Mountains, a creature known as the Wampus Cat is a terrifying recurring character. It is described as a massive half-woman, half-cat creature that walks on four legs, but with a human-like torso and a terrifying, haunting cry. The stories say it was once a beautiful woman who was cursed after she spied on a secret tribal ceremony, turning her into this strange, unclassified hybrid monster that stalks the lonely woods. The Wampus Cat is said to have the power of hypnotism, or a terrifying gaze that can paralyze its victims before it attacks with its massive, razor-sharp claws. Historical accounts from early settlers and hunters often speak of a deep, unnatural cry in the night that sounds half human and half feline, a sound that strikes fear into the heart of anyone who hears it. This is more than just a myth. It is a historical explanation for a large, aggressive predator that moved too fast to be identified. This creature is unclassified because it mixes human and feline biology in a way that is impossible, but the fear it caused was very real. It represents the historical terror of the unknown woman, a powerful, mysterious, and deadly female force in the dark, empty woods. The Wampus Cat is a chilling piece of mountain history, a creature whose shadow haunts the quiet Appalachian hollows, a terrifying reminder that the mountains still hold ancient secrets and cursed, deadly things that science can never fully explain. The Mothman. In 1966 and 1967, the small, quiet town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, was terrorized by repeated sightings of a huge winged creature known as the Mothman. It was described as a large 6 to 7 foot tall man with huge silent wings and terrifying glowing red eyes that were set close to its shoulders. It was often seen flying near an old abandoned factory and was repeatedly seen just before or during the collapse of the local Silver Bridge in 1967. Hundreds of people saw the Mothman during its brief, intense historical appearance. Police reports, local newspaper articles, and witness statements are filled with consistent details about its silent flight, its speed, and its strange, lumbering walk when on the ground. The creature seemed to be watching people, showing an unnatural intelligence. Its terrifying presence was so strongly linked to the collapse of the Silver Bridge that many people believe it was an omen, a ghost sent to warn people of the coming tragedy. The Mothman is unclassified because it is a flying, glowing humanoid that has no place in known biology. Was it an unknown, giant owl, an escaped government experiment, or something truly supernatural? The historical facts are impossible to ignore. A creature of great size and terror appeared briefly, caused immense panic, and then vanished forever after a huge disaster. This creature is a chilling, terrifying piece of modern history, a winged ghost that reminds us that some mysteries are warnings, not just animals. The Glimmerman Invisibles. In the vast remote forests and swamps of North America, there are consistent, quiet reports of large, intelligent creatures that are able to cloak themselves or remain nearly invisible, sometimes called the Glimmerman. Witnesses, often hunters or seasoned woodsmen, report seeing a strange, vertical shimmer of heat or light moving quickly between the trees, a distortion in the air that suggests something solid is moving but cannot be fully seen. These sightings often come from people who have spent their lives in the woods and know exactly how light and shadow should look. They report a sudden, chilling feeling of being watched, followed by the terrifying realization that they are looking at nothing, yet something is clearly moving right in front of them. The consistent historical accounts of this optical effect, this glimmer, suggest an animal has evolved a form of biological camouflage that is far beyond anything known to science. The glimmer man is unclassified because it is defined by what it is not. It is not visible. If an animal can achieve this level of near invisibility, it means a terrifying, intelligent predator is constantly watching us from the silent edges of the woods. This creature is a fact that exists in the pure distortion of light, a ghost of biology that proves that the most successful and terrifying creatures are often the ones we cannot even prove are there. The shadow is watching you. The Wendigo, historical. The Wendigo is a terrifying monster from the history and spiritual beliefs of the Algonquian Native American tribes. It is described as a massive, gaunt creature with deeply recessed, glowing eyes, skin stretched tight over its bones, and a terrifying, insatiable hunger for human flesh. Its presence is linked to famine, winter, and the dark act of cannibalism, a chilling tale used to warn people against greed and selfishness in the harsh northern woods. The Wendigo is terrifying because it is not just a monster of the forest, but also a spiritual affliction that can take over a person, transforming them into a flesh-eating demon with impossible strength. The historical accounts of people who succumbed to Wendigo psychosis and their subsequent attacks on their own villages are tragic and true. These events, documented in early settler and tribal records, show that the fear of this creature was very real and had terrible, violent consequences. This creature is unclassified because it blends spiritual terror with a physical, monstrous form. It represents the historical fear of extreme hunger and isolation in the deep, frozen wilderness. Whether it is a ghost or an actual creature, the Wendigo's legend is a permanent, terrifying fact in the history of the North Woods. It is a terrifying, impossible beast that reminds us that sometimes the most deadly things are the dark desires that take over the human mind in the silent, cold emptiness. The Shunka-Warakin. In the remote state of Idaho, a strange, terrifying creature was killed by a rancher in 1886. The animal was unlike any known wolf, coyote, or dog. It had a long, low-slung body, huge fangs, and a strange high-backed silhouette, making it look like a terrifying mix of a wolf and a hyena. The creature was given the name Shunka-Warakin, which in the local Native American language means carries off dogs. The taxidermied remains of the creature were once put on display in a local museum, allowing scientists and naturalists to examine the physical evidence. Though many tried to classify it as a strange hybrid dog, the bone structure, the size of its head, and its unique dental arrangement did not match any known species. It was clearly a powerful, unclassified predator that had managed to survive in the wild long enough to be caught and studied, a physical fact of the unknown. The Shunka-Warakin is a terrifying, tangible piece of history, a creature that proves that even in the 1800s, America was still hiding large, unique predators we had not found. It remains unclassified because its physical form defies all known canine biology, suggesting a separate, unknown line of evolution. This strange, big-toothed beast is a clear, powerful reminder that the wildness of the American West was once home to creatures far stranger and more terrifying than we allow ourselves to believe today. The Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds are massive, powerful birds of prey from the history and folklore of many Native American tribes across North America. They are described as having an immense wingspan, large enough to block out the sun, and the power to create thunder and lightning with the beat of their giant wings. They are seen as guardians of the sky, but their size and power are terrifying, making them a destructive and magnificent force of nature. In the 1970s, many modern sightings began, especially in Illinois and Pennsylvania, where people reported seeing huge, dark, silent birds with 10 to 20-foot wingspans. One chilling historical account involves a large bird swooping down and picking up a small boy in its massive talons before dropping him from a low height, a powerful, aggressive action that proves their terrifying size and strength. The size reported rules out any known eagle or condor. The thunderbird is unclassified because its size suggests it might be a surviving species of a giant ancient bird called a teratorn or an argentavis, a massive flyer we thought went extinct long ago. The idea of a 20-foot winged predator flying silently over modern towns is terrifying and completely redefines the fauna of North America. This colossal, silent flyer is a living historical ghost from the Age of Giants, a creature that proves the shadows in the sky are still watching us today. The Penanggalan. The Penanggalan is a terrifying, impossible monster from the history and folklore of Malaysia and Indonesia. It is described as a normal-looking woman during the day, but at night, her head detaches completely from her body and flies off, trailing her internal organs like a long bloody rope behind it. The flying head, glowing with a faint chilling light, is said to hunt for blood, especially the blood of pregnant women and newborn children, making it a truly terrifying night demon. The history of the Penanggalan is filled with stories of women who are cursed or practice black magic, resulting in this terrifying nightly transformation. The creature is said to be able to squeeze its floating head and organs through tiny cracks and holes to interlocked homes, a terrifying, impossible form of movement. The fear of this creature is so real that people used to put thorny plants in their windows to snag the flying organs and kill the monster before it could return to its body. This creature is unclassified because it defies all rules of physical biology. The idea of a human head detaching and flying with its internal organs is a grotesque, terrifying fact that belongs to the deepest recesses of human fear. The Penanggalan is a chilling piece of history that proves that the greatest, most terrifying monsters are sometimes human themselves, taking on an impossible, terrifying form under the cover of the silent deep night to hunt the innocent. The chupacabra, goatsucker. The chupacabra, which means goatsucker, is a terrifying, unclassified beast whose history began in Puerto Rico in the 1990s. Farmers reported finding their animals, particularly goats and chickens, completely drained of blood through tiny, precise puncture wounds. The creature itself was described by witnesses as a small, reptilian or alien-like biped, with large, glowing red eyes and long, sharp claws, often moving in a strange hopping gait. Total actual word count. P1. 100. The terrifying attack soon spread from Puerto Rico to Mexico in the southern United States, with thousands of reports of drained livestock and sightings of the strange creature. The pattern of killing, draining the blood completely, is so unique and so terrifying that it defies any known predator, like coyotes or mountain lions. This creature showed an unknown, surgical precision in its horrific hunting style, turning local farms into scenes of unsettling, bloodless horror. The chupacabra is unclassified because it does not fit into any known biology. It is part reptile, part alien, and part dog, depending on the sighting. The terrifying consistency of the bloodless kills suggests a real new predator is hunting across the Americas. Whether it is a strange, unknown hybrid or something else entirely, the chupacabra is a powerful, chilling fact of modern history, a blood-sucking ghost that proves the terrifying unknown is constantly evolving right under our noses. The Mokelembembe. Deep in the vast, remote Congo basin of Central Africa, local tribes and explorers have told stories for centuries of a massive long-necked creature called the Mokelembembe. It is described as a huge plant-eating reptile with an elephant-sized body, thick legs, and a very long, muscular neck that it uses to reach the highest leaves. This description is exactly like the ancient dinosaurs known as sauropods, which we thought died out millions of years ago. Multiple serious expeditions have been launched into the deep, dark swamps to find the Mokelembembe. Explorers have found massive, strange footprints and have heard huge splashes in the water that suggest a creature of immense size lives in the water. Local people treat the creature with great respect and fear, proving that it is a real part of their environment. The immense size and the impossible shape of the beast are a continuous, terrifying challenge to modern science. The Mokelembembe is unclassified because it is a living dinosaur, a powerful, terrifying fact that a creature from the deepest past is still alive. If it is real, it means that the remote Congo swamps are the greatest hidden archives on Earth, protecting the secrets of prehistory. This long-necked giant is a quiet, powerful reminder that the biggest mysteries often hide in the places we simply cannot reach, swimming silently in the deep, ancient, muddy water of the jungle. The Lake Pepin serpent. In the wide, quiet waters of Lake Pepin, a natural lake along the Mississippi River, historical sightings of a massive serpentine creature stretch back to the 1800s. Early settlers and Native Americans alike reported seeing a huge, long-bodied animal with a large head and dark, smooth skin swimming with a powerful, fast motion through the cold, deep water. It was often called the river serpent, or the Pepin pacer. Newspaper accounts from the late 19th century are full of detailed reports from eyewitnesses who saw the creature surface and quickly dive back down. The descriptions are too consistent and too numerous to be easily dismissed as floating logs or large fish. The creature was said to be dark, long, and to move in a way that suggests a powerful, unknown aquatic reptile, or a very large deep-water seal that has adapted a new body shape. The mystery has lasted for over 150 years. The Lake Pepin serpent is an unclassified freshwater giant, a terrifying fact that a massive unknown creature is swimming freely in one of America's most famous and busy river systems. It proves that the deepest riverbeds are just as capable of hiding secrets as the ocean. This creature is a quiet, powerful piece of local history, a dark, fast-moving shadow that reminds us that the peaceful, familiar waters of our home can often hold the most terrifying and unclassified secrets of the unknown. The Globster of Egersund in 2003, on a beach near Egersund, Norway, a massive, unidentifiable mass of decomposing flesh washed ashore. It was a terrifying fact for the local people. This creature was huge, boneless, and covered in what looked like a thick, shaggy fur or dense hair. Scientists were unable to match it to any known marine creature, not a whale, not a seal, and certainly not a fish, making it a clear modern example of an unclassified globster. The mystery was deepened by the strange fibrous material that covered the entire body, leading some scientists to suggest it might be a massive, unknown type of sea otter, a creature that could grow to be the size of a small car. However, the exact cellular structure and DNA were impossible to determine because the creature was so badly decomposed. The lack of clear evidence only proves that the body came from a completely unknown, deep-sea environment. The Egersund globster is a terrifying physical piece of evidence that the cold, vast Norwegian Sea is home to life we cannot even begin to imagine. It is a massive, hairy ghost that came from the black depths to rest briefly on our shore. This creature is unclassified because it completely challenges our charts of marine life. A quiet, powerful reminder that the dark, cold corners of the world are still archives for enormous, terrifying secrets that only the storms can bring to the surface. The Enfield Horror. In 1973, in the quiet town of Enfield, Illinois, two brothers had a terrifying encounter with a bizarre small creature. They described a figure that was only 4 feet tall, with 3 legs, 2 huge short arms that ended in massive claws, and large, bright red eyes. Most terrifyingly, the creature seemed to float or hop in a strange way, and made a hissing sound like a broken radio, a sound that was completely inhuman and chilling to hear. The brothers' dog was so terrified that it began to bark uncontrollably, causing the creature to leap over 40 feet in a single bound and quickly disappear into the dark woods. Later, a local man reported hearing the same terrifying hiss and seeing the creature near his own home. The consistency of the 3-legged description and the strange, silent movement make this creature completely unique and impossible to classify as any known animal, either terrestrial or amphibian. The Enfield Horror is unclassified because it is a creature that seems to defy the very basic rules of animal anatomy, having 3 legs and short, terrifying arms. It is a bizarre, small fact that something truly alien and unknown appeared briefly in a quiet Illinois town, causing immense panic before vanishing. This creature is a terrifying piece of modern history, a 3-legged hopping ghost that proves that the most frightening things are often the ones that are the hardest to even imagine. The Tatzelwurm. In the high, snowy mountains of the European Alps, including Switzerland and Austria, local history is filled with terrifying accounts of a creature called the Tatzelwurm, or clawed worm. It is described as a large, fat lizard or snake, between 2 and 6 feet long, with a smooth skin and a huge cat-like head. Most terrifyingly, it is said to have 2 short clawed front legs, like a massive snake with arms, and to move with impossible speed. Historical accounts from mountain farmers and hikers, some dating back to the 1700s, describe a creature that is aggressive, venomous, and prone to jumping at its prey with great force. There are several famous detailed drawings and woodcuts of the Tatzelwurm made by people who claim to have seen it, all showing the same impossible features: a snake body with a cat head and 2 small clawed arms. This visual consistency proves the widespread fear was very real. The Tatzelwurm is unclassified because it is a creature that blurs the line between a reptile and a mammal, possessing a cat's head and a snake's body. If it is a real animal, it would be a completely unique reptile, a powerful evolutionary throwback that has managed to survive in the cold, remote mountain peaks. This small, terrifying monster is a historical fact that the deepest, quietest mountains are still capable of hiding impossible, clawed worms that science cannot explain. The Mapinguari. In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes have told stories for centuries of a massive, terrifying creature called the Mapinguari. It is described as a huge, ape-like beast that stands 7 feet tall, covered in thick reddish-brown fur and possessing a strange, terrifying second mouth in its stomach. Most terrifyingly, it has long, sharp claws and feet that are backward-facing, making it impossible to follow its tracks through the thick jungle. The creature is said to walk slowly, moving with a huge, lumbering power, and to give off a truly foul, sickening odour before it attacks, much like the skunk ape. Its terrifying roar is said to break the bones in people's bodies. Scientists who have travelled to the region believe the Mapinguari might be a surviving species of a giant ground sloth, a huge, massive mammal that we thought went extinct thousands of years ago, which would explain the massive size and long claws. The Mapinguari is unclassified because its size and unique anatomical features defy any known modern primate. If it is a surviving sloth, it means a giant, peaceful herbivore has evolved into a terrifying, massive, aggressive predator. This giant, hairy monster is a chilling historical fact that the deepest, quietest parts of the Amazon are the last archives for the world's most impossible, terrifying secrets, a creature with backward-facing feet that cannot be tracked or found. The Skveda. The Skveda is a terrifyingly impossible creature from the history and folklore of Sweden. It is described as a massive rabbit, but with the massive dark wings and feathered tail of a grouse bird, a creature that is clearly half mammal and half bird. The creature is so famous that a real taxidermied fake of the Skvada is kept in a museum in Sweden, celebrating the local history and the terrifying idea of this bizarre flying rabbit. The story of the Skvada began in 1932, when a man named Håkan Dalmark claimed to have shot and killed the creature while hunting in the woods. While the physical creature was a clever fake, the terrifying idea behind it was already part of the local history, a way for people to explain the strange sounds and sudden movements they saw in the dark woods. It is a creature of pure impossibility, a terrifying blend of 2 completely different types of animal. The Skveda is unclassified because it defies all known rules of biology, being a terrifying winged rabbit. It represents the historical fear of the impossible hybrid, the creature that cannot be named because it breaks the simple rules of life. This impossible beast is a powerful fact that the quiet northern forests of Europe can give birth to the strangest ideas and deepest fears, a reminder that the simplest animal forms can sometimes hold the most impossible, terrifying secrets. The jackalope. Historical. The jackalope is a famous strange creature from the history and folklore of the American West. It is described as a common rabbit, but with the terrifying sharp antlers of a young deer or antelope on its head. The creature is said to be aggressive, fast, and to have the ability to perfectly mimic the sound of a human voice, often calling out the names of hunters from a distance to lure them to their doom. The historical accounts of the jackalope became very famous in the 1930s, when 2 brothers in Wyoming began selling fake taxidermied jackalopes to tourists, adding to the local history and the national myth. While the modern tourist attraction is a clear fake, the deep history of the creature goes back much further, possibly inspired by rabbits that had rare tumours that made strange horn-like growths on their heads, giving them a terrifying horned appearance. The jackalope is unclassified because it is a creature that blends two impossible biological forms, a terrifying horned rabbit. It represents the historical fear of the impossible hybrid, the creature that is both common and completely alien. This simple, small beast is a powerful historical fact that the quiet, empty plains of the American West were once home to creatures so strange and terrifying that they had to be seen to be believed. A small horned ghost of the plains. The Kushtaka. The Kushtaka is a terrifying shape-shifting creature from the history and spiritual beliefs of the Tlingit and Tsimshian, Native American tribes of the Pacific Northwest. It is described as a human-otter hybrid, a powerful, aggressive beast that can change its form between that of an otter and a small, hairy man. The creature is said to lure people to the water by mimicking the cries of a lost child or a loved one, pulling them into the cold, dark water to drown. The Kushtaka is terrifying because it is a spiritual killer, a creature that is not just an animal, but a dark force that uses human emotions to lure its prey. The local history is filled with tragic, true stories of people who vanished near the water, their disappearances blamed on the intelligent, shape-shifting monster. The creature is often associated with the terrifying, cold beauty of the water, proving that the most beautiful places can hide the darkest secrets. The Kushtaka is unclassified because it is a creature that defies the basic rules of biology and spiritual reality. It is a terrifying, living piece of deep tribal history, a creature that proves that the forests and water can hide impossible, intelligent things that cannot be named. This dark human otter ghost is a powerful, chilling reminder that the quiet, foggy Pacific coast is home to shape-shifting terrors that science cannot explain and should not try to find. The Rougarou. In the history and folklore of the French-speaking bayou country of Louisiana, a terrifying, aggressive creature known as the Rougarou is said to hunt in the deep, dark swamps. It is described as a human-wolf hybrid, a terrifying werewolf-like creature that is over 7 feet tall, covered in dark, matted hair, and possessing huge, razor-sharp claws. The creature is said to be a person who was cursed by a dark spell, forcing them to become the beast at night. The Rougarou is terrifying because it is a monster of human creation, a creature that is physically real but spiritually driven by a curse. The local history is filled with stories of the creature stalking people in the deep, dark swamp, its massive shadow moving silently between the thick cypress trees. The fear of the Rougarou was so real that it was often used by parents to keep their children from wandering into the dark, dangerous bayou at night. The Rougarou is unclassified because it is a creature that blends human and canine biology with a spiritual curse. It is a powerful, terrifying piece of local history, a creature that proves that the quiet, wet swamps of the South are the perfect archives for dark, unclassified secrets. This massive, hairy hybrid is a chilling reminder that the most terrifying things in the world are often the ones that are born from a dark human era and cursed to hunt forever in the dark. The Beast of Busco. In 1949, near the small town of Churubusco, Indiana, a massive unclassified turtle was sighted in a local lake, quickly becoming a terrifying historical event. The creature was described as being the size of a small car, weighing over 500 pounds, with a dark, scarred shell and a massive, terrifying head. The local man who owned the lake saw the huge turtle and quickly tried to capture it, but the creature was too strong and too large to be held. The event drew national attention, with hundreds of reporters, hunters, and spectators coming to the small town to try and catch the monster, which was quickly nicknamed Oscar the Monster. The lake was partially drained and divers were sent in, but the massive turtle always managed to avoid capture, proving its intelligence and immense strength. The whole event was a huge documented historical failure, showing that a creature of immense size could easily defeat the efforts of modern man. The Beast of Busco is unclassified because it is a creature that is far larger than any known snapping turtle, suggesting a separate, unknown line of giant reptile is thriving in the quiet, deep lakes of the Midwest. The historical fact that this massive creature was seen and documented by hundreds of people proves that the most common environments can still hide the most terrifying secrets. This giant unseen turtle is a chilling reminder that the deepest water can always hide the biggest monsters, the bunyip. The bunyip is a terrifying, huge creature from the history and spiritual beliefs of the Aboriginal people of Australia. It is described as a massive, dark beast that lives in swamps, rivers, and waterholes, often having a long neck, a huge dog-like head, and a terrifying roar that echoes across the dark night. The creature is said to be a spiritual killer, dragging people who get too close to the water down to the black depths to be drowned. Early European settlers also reported seeing the bunyip, often describing a massive, powerful aquatic creature that was unlike any known seal or water animal. Historical newspaper articles from the 1840s are filled with terrifying accounts of strange roars and massive footprints found near waterholes. The consistency of the descriptions from two completely different cultures proves that something massive and terrifying was truly living in the quiet waters of Australia. The bunyip is unclassified because it is a creature that blends the features of a bird, a reptile, and a seal, a terrifying, impossible hybrid. It represents the historical fear of the dark, deep water and the secrets it holds. This massive, roaring water ghost is a chilling reminder that the quiet, empty outback of Australia is home to unclassified spiritual terrors that science cannot explain, a creature that is waiting silently in the black, still water, the grootslang. The grootslang is a terrifying creature from the history and folklore of South Africa. Its name means great snake, and it is described as a massive giant serpent that is over 40 feet long, with a huge elephant-like head, a powerful body and a love for gold and diamonds. The creature is said to live in a dark, remote cave deep within the heart of the country, guarding the immense treasures it has collected over centuries. The story of the grootslang is said to come from the deepest part of history, when the gods tried to create a perfect creature, but made a terrible mistake, resulting in this terrifying, impossible giant. The creature was said to be so powerful that the gods had to split it into two separate creatures, the elephant and the snake, but a few of the originals survived and now guard the secret caves. This blend of history and myth proves the deep, old fear of the creature was very real. The grootslang is unclassified because it is a creature that blends a reptile and a mammal in a terrifying, massive form. It is a powerful, chilling piece of local history, a creature that proves that the deepest, quietest parts of Africa are the last archives for the world's most impossible, giant secrets. This huge snake-elephant hybrid is a terrifying reminder that the Earth can hide creatures of immense size and power that science cannot even begin to explain. The ningen. The ningen is a terrifying modern creature from the quiet deep ocean waters near the Antarctic. It is described as a massive, pale, human-like creature that is over 100 feet long, with a smooth white skin, 2 massive legs, and 2 short, stubby arms. The creature is said to be entirely aquatic, living only in the deepest, coldest parts of the ocean, only briefly surfacing at night to be seen by far-off whaling vessels and research ships. The historical accounts of the ningen are all modern, mostly from the last few decades, with several reports coming from Japanese research crews who claim to have seen the massive white figure from a distance. The creature is often described as having no face, just a pale, smooth head with 2 small holes for eyes, making it look terrifyingly alien and impossible. The immense size and the human-like shape make it one of the most frightening modern facts of the deep. The ningen is unclassified because it is a creature that blends the shape of a human with the size of a whale, a terrifying, impossible hybrid. If it is a real animal, it means the coldest, deepest parts of the ocean are home to a new, colossal line of aquatic life that has evolved in complete isolation. This huge, white, humanoid ghost is a chilling reminder that the greatest mysteries are often the ones that are hiding in the vast, empty, cold corners of the world. The bat squatch. The bat squatch is a terrifying winged creature from the history and folklore of the Pacific Northwest, especially near Mount St. Helens in Washington state. It is described as a massive ape-like creature that stands over 10 feet tall, covered in dark, matted hair, but possessing massive dark bat wings and a terrifying, deep, guttural cry. The creature is often seen flying or gliding near the deep, isolated mountain peaks. The most famous sighting came shortly after the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980. when a man claimed the creature swooped down and lifted his car off the ground before quickly flying away. This terrifying, powerful action suggests an animal of immense size and strength, far beyond any known mammal. The creature is often associated with the terrifying, destructive power of the volcano, leading some to believe it is a guardian spirit or a mutated beast created by the eruption. The bat squatch is unclassified because it is a creature that blends an ape-man with a flying mammal, a terrifying, impossible hybrid. It is a powerful, chilling piece of local history, a creature that proves that the deepest, quietest mountains can hide flying terrors that science cannot explain. This massive winged ape is a terrifying reminder that the wilderness is still full of impossible, unclassified giants that only fly when the night is at its deepest and darkest. The Beast of Bodmin Moor. The Beast of Bodmin Moor is a terrifying, massive, unclassified feline that has been sighted consistently in the remote, quiet moorlands of Cornwall, England since the 1970s. It is described as a huge black cat, much larger than any known wild cat, often the size of a small puma or leopard, with bright yellow eyes and a long, powerful tail. The creature is often seen stalking sheep and livestock in the remote farming areas. The sightings are so frequent and so consistent that the local government launched an official investigation in the 1990s, with police, military and animal experts all trying to find the source of the terrifying, quiet predator. While no physical capture has ever occurred, the consistent pattern of livestock mutilation and the thousands of clear sightings prove that a massive, unknown cat is truly living and hunting on the quiet moorlands of England. The Beast of Bodmin Moor is unclassified because large predatory cats like pumas and leopards are not native to England. If this creature is real, it suggests an unknown, massive feline has either escaped from a private zoo and thrived, or, more terrifyingly, that a new giant native cat has evolved in isolation. This large, black ghost is a chilling historical fact that even the quiet, seemingly safe countries can hide large, unclassified killers in the desolate, foggy places. The Loveland Mothman. In 1969, in Loveland, Ohio, 2 separate police officers reported a sighting of a huge winged creature, years after the original Mothman sightings in West Virginia. The creature was described as a large, dark figure with huge wings and a terrifying, lumbering walk, seen near the same quiet roads as the earlier Loveland frogman. The 2 distinct creatures seen in the same small town make the area a deep historical archive of the terrifying unknown. The police officers who saw the creature were very clear in their reports, noting the massive wings and the terrifying quick movement of the figure. The sheer coincidence of a Mothman-like creature appearing in the same town where the impossible frogman was seen adds a disturbing, unclassified layer to the town's history. It suggests a pattern of high strangeness, or a secret gateway where impossible creatures are able to cross over to our world. The Loveland Mothman is unclassified because it is a creature that is simply too large and too strangely featured to be any known bird or animal. The fact that its appearance is tied to the historical area of the frogman proves that some places are simply cursed or home to a deep, dark secret. This winged ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is not limited to a single monster, but a powerful, continuing force that repeats itself in dark, quiet corners. The Fook Monster. The Fook Monster is a massive, aggressive, ape-like creature from the dark, quiet swamps of Arkansas, which became very famous after the movie The Legend of Boggy Creek was released in 1972. It is described as standing over 7 feet tall, covered in long, dark, shaggy hair, and possessing a foul, sickening odour, much like the skunk ape. The creature is often seen near the small remote town of Fook, stalking local farms and frightening residents. The most terrifying documented historical encounter involved a family who claimed the creature attacked their home, leaving massive scratch marks on the outside walls and terrifying the residents. The creature is often described as being very aggressive and completely unafraid of people, suggesting a powerful, confident predator that has no known place in the local biology. The immense size and aggressive nature of the beast make it a truly terrifying historical fact. The Fook monster is unclassified because no known ape or primate lives in the Arkansas swamps. Its aggressive nature and massive size suggest a truly unique, undiscovered primate that has adapted to the wet, muddy environment. This aggressive giant is a powerful piece of local history, a chilling reminder that the quiet, dark swamps of the south are still home to terrifying unknown creatures that are strong enough to attack a home and then vanish without a trace. The Kumohito spider person. In the ancient history and folklore of Japan, there are terrifying accounts of a creature called the Kumohito, or spider person. It is described as a large, cunning monster that can change its form between that of a beautiful woman and a massive, hideous spider. The creature is said to lure lonely men into its lair and then transform, wrapping them in thick, sticky webbing before slowly eating them alive. This blend of beauty and terror makes it truly chilling. The Kumohito is terrifying because it is a monster of manipulation, a creature that is not just a beast but an intelligent, shape-shifting killer. The historical accounts, often found in old scrolls and woodblock prints, show the terrifying dual nature of the creature, proving that the fear of this beautiful, deadly monster was a real part of daily life in ancient Japan. The ability to completely change its physical form makes it unclassified by all biological standards. The spider person is unclassified because it is a creature that defies the basic rules of biology and spiritual reality, a terrifying blend of human and arachnid. It is a powerful, chilling piece of local history, a creature that proves that the most terrifying things in the world are often the ones that can perfectly hide their monstrous true selves. This beautiful, deadly ghost is a quiet reminder that the deepest secrets are often the ones that are hiding behind the most gentle smile, the Popobawa. The Popobawa is a terrifying, silent monster from the history and folklore of the island of Zanzibar, off the coast of Africa. It is described as a small, winged, shadow-like creature with a single, massive eye and a frighteningly aggressive, non-physical nature. The creature is said to attack people in their sleep, especially at night, and is associated with sudden, intense, localized outbreaks of mass panic and shared terror among villagers. The creature became a terrifying historical fact in the 1990s when a massive wave of panic swept the island, with thousands of people claiming to have been visited and attacked by the creature in their beds. The unique thing about the Popobawa is that the people who see it are often terrified into telling their friends and neighbours, spreading the panic like a contagious disease. This psychological effect makes it a terrifying, unclassified force of fear. The Popobawa is unclassified because it is a creature that seems to exist on the edge of reality, part physical monster and part spiritual demon. Its sudden, intense appearance in modern times proves that the quiet islands are still home to dark, terrifying secrets that science cannot explain. This silent winged ghost is a chilling reminder that the deepest, most frightening unknowns are often the ones that are hiding in the dark corners of the human mind and the quiet hours of the night. The Yeren, China wildman. In the remote mountainous forests of central China, there are thousands of historical and modern sightings of a massive ape-like creature known as the Yeren, or wild man. It is described as standing over 6 feet tall, covered in long, reddish-brown or black hair, and possessing a powerful upright walk. The historical accounts stretch back hundreds of years, making it one of the oldest and most consistently sighted ape men in the world. Chinese government researchers have launched numerous serious expeditions into the mountains to find the Yeren, collecting hundreds of hair samples, footprints, and eyewitness accounts. While no capture has ever occurred, the consistent physical evidence suggests a large, unknown primate is truly living and thriving in the remote, quiet mountains. The creature is often described as being very shy and solitary, allowing it to avoid human contact for centuries. The Yeren is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known primate biology. It is too large and too humanoid to be a gibbon or a known ape. If it is real, it means a completely unknown hominid or a gigantic ape has managed to survive in isolation for millennia. This massive, hairy giant is a powerful piece of world history, a chilling reminder that the deepest, quietest mountains of Asia are the last archives for the world's most ancient, terrifying secrets. The Beeman Monster. The Beeman Monster is a terrifying creature from the history of Kentucky, especially in the remote, quiet forests near the small town of Beeman. It is described as a huge, muscular beast, over 7 feet tall, covered in dark, matted hair and possessing a terrifying, blood-curdling roar that can be heard for miles. The creature is often seen near the local train tracks and is associated with sudden, strange disappearances in the dark woods. The most famous sighting came in the 1970s, when several local hunters claimed to have seen the creature near their camp, describing a massive, powerful beast that moved with impossible speed. The creature is often associated with a series of strange, aggressive actions, like throwing huge rocks at cars and breaking thick tree branches with ease, showing an impossible strength. This level of physical power proves that a massive, unclassified animal is truly living in the quiet woods. The Beeman monster is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known primate or mammal biology. Its immense size and terrifying roar suggest a truly unique, undiscovered animal that has adapted to the deep, dark forests of the South. This massive, hairy ghost is a chilling piece of local history, a creature that proves that the deepest, quietest woods are still home to terrifying, aggressive secrets that science cannot explain or capture. The giant anaconda, Amazon reports. While the anaconda is a known, large snake, there are historical reports from deep within the Amazon rainforest of a truly giant species that far exceeds the scientifically known size. Explorers, local tribes, and even modern helicopter pilots report seeing massive serpents that are over 50 feet long and thick enough to be the size of a small tree trunk. These terrifying, gigantic snakes are completely unclassified by modern science. The historical accounts are incredibly consistent, with many explorers claiming to have seen the massive, powerful tracks of these huge snakes near riverbanks. The immense size suggests a creature that is capable of eating large animals like cows and tapirs with ease. The sheer size of the reported animals defies the known biological limits of the current anaconda species, leading some to believe a separate, massive line of the snake is thriving in the quiet, deep river systems. The giant anaconda is unclassified because it is a creature that exceeds all known biological limits, a terrifying, massive reptile that science insists cannot exist. If it is real, it means the deep, quiet Amazon is the greatest archive for the world's most giant secrets. This huge, silent killer is a chilling reminder that the deepest, most remote jungles can hide creatures of impossible size and power, a massive, muscular shadow waiting silently in the dark water. The Okanagan Lake monster, Ogopogo, Okanagan Lake in British Columbia, Canada, is home to a massive serpentine creature known as the Ogopogo, or Nhe-ai-itk in the local Native American language. It is described as a huge, long-bodied animal with a dark, smooth skin, a head like a large horse or camel, and a long neck. It is often seen moving with a strange, undulating motion, creating several humps in the water as it swims quickly across the deep, cold lake. The historical accounts stretch back to the 19th century, with many different people, including scientists and government officials, reporting clear sightings of the creature. The consistency of the humped body and the horse-like head is so strong that the local community has embraced the mystery, but the question of what this creature is remains completely unsolved. The massive size of the lake provides the perfect deep archive for a creature of this size to hide. The Ogopogo is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known freshwater biology. It is too large and too strangely shaped to be a known fish or seal. If it is real, it suggests a huge unknown line of aquatic reptile or a large separate aquatic mammal has evolved in isolation in the deep, cold lake. This long-necked giant is a powerful piece of local history, a chilling reminder that the quiet, peaceful lakes can still hide massive serpentine secrets. The Burrinjaw. The Burrinjaw is a terrifying, massive reptile from the history and spiritual beliefs of the Aboriginal people of Australia. It is described as a large, long-necked creature with a massive dinosaur-like body, standing upright on two legs like a Tyrannosaurus rex. The creature is said to hunt cattle and horses in the remote, quiet outback, moving with immense speed and power, defying all known modern biology. The historical accounts are incredibly detailed, with many indigenous people claiming to have seen the creature near their remote cattle stations. The description of a massive two-legged reptile is so consistent that it suggests a surviving theropod dinosaur, a creature we thought died out millions of years ago. The vast, empty outback provides the perfect hidden archive for a creature of this size to avoid all human contact for centuries. The Burunjaw is unclassified because it is a creature that is physically impossible by modern biological standards, a terrifying living dinosaur. If it is real, it means the remote, quiet deserts of Australia are the last archives for the world's most ancient, terrifying secrets. This massive, upright killer is a chilling reminder that the empty places of the world can still hide creatures of impossible size and power, a massive ghost of prehistory that is still hunting today. The Beast of Exmoor. The Beast of Exmoor is another terrifying, massive, unclassified feline that has been sighted consistently in the remote, quiet moorlands of Exmoor, England, since the 1970s. Like the Beast of Bodmin, it is described as a huge black cat, much larger than any known wild cat, often the size of a small puma or leopard, with bright yellow eyes and a long, powerful tail. The creature is often seen stalking sheep and livestock in the remote farming areas. The sightings and the mutilation of livestock were so frequent that the Royal Marines were sent to the moor to hunt the beast in 1983, a documented historical event that proves the seriousness of the threat. While the military failed to find the creature, the consistent reports from hundreds of people prove that a massive unknown cat is truly living and hunting on the quiet moorlands of England. The sheer size of the creature is simply impossible for the known fauna. The Beast of Exmoor is unclassified because large predatory cats are not native to England. If this creature is real, it suggests an unknown, massive feline has either escaped from a private zoo and thrived, or, more terrifyingly, that a new, giant native cat has evolved in isolation. This large black ghost is a chilling historical fact that even the quiet, seemingly safe countries can hide large, unclassified killers in the desolate, foggy places. The drop bear. The drop bear is a terrifying creature from the modern history and folklore of Australia. It is described as a massive, aggressive species of koala that is the size of a large dog, possessing huge, razor-sharp claws and a terrifying hunger for human flesh. The creature is said to hide high up in the thick eucalyptus trees and then drop silently onto unsuspecting tourists and hikers below to attack them. The drop bear is a terrifying modern fact that is often told to frighten tourists and newcomers to Australia. However, the story is rooted in the very real historical dangers of the Australian bush and the aggressive nature of some of the local animals. The local fear of the creature is so real that people are often advised to put forks in their hair or wear strange helmets to ward off the sudden, silent attacks from above. The drop bear is unclassified because it is a creature that blends a known animal, the koala, with impossible size and predatory aggression. It is a powerful, chilling piece of modern history, a creature that proves that the quiet, sunny parts of the world can hide the most unexpected, terrifying secrets. This massive, falling ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown can sometimes be hiding right above your head, waiting to drop silently in the dark. The Mekong River serpent, Naga. Along the massive, muddy Mekong River that flows through Southeast Asia, the local people have deep historical beliefs in a massive serpentine creature called the Naga, or river serpent. It is described as a huge, powerful snake, over 40 feet long, with a large, elaborate crest on its head and the ability to breathe fire or water. The creature is seen as a powerful, terrifying deity that controls the water and the weather. The belief in the Naga is so strong that local people hold massive annual festivals to honour the creature and keep it from flooding their homes. The most terrifying modern fact is the phenomenon of the Naga fireballs, where mysterious, glowing red balls of light shoot out of the river and up into the sky. No scientific explanation has ever been able to fully explain these lights, leading many to believe they are the breath or the sign of the powerful, unclassified serpent. The Mekong River serpent is unclassified because it is a creature that blends a physical, massive snake with a powerful spiritual deity. It is a terrifying, living piece of deep local history, a creature that proves that the quiet, ancient rivers of the world can still hide creatures of impossible size and power. This huge, silent serpent is a chilling reminder that the deepest, most remote rivers are the greatest archives for the world's most ancient, terrifying secrets. The White Things, Appalachia. In the Appalachian Mountains, there are terrifying, Modern reports of strange, smooth-skinned white creatures that move silently through the darkest woods, often called the white things. They are described as small, thin, humanoid figures, about 4 feet tall with no hair, no eyes, and a terrifyingly blank, pale appearance. They are often seen standing silently on the edges of quiet roads or on the slopes of dark hills. Total, the creatures are said to move with a strange, quick, silent motion, vanishing almost instantly when a light is shined on them. The consistency of the white colour and the lack of any facial features make them completely alien and impossible to classify as any known animal, either mammal or reptile. The sheer strangeness of the creature's appearance proves that the quiet old mountains are still home to terrifying unknown life forms that defy all modern biology. The white things are unclassified because they are creatures that are simply too bizarre and too blank to be anything known to science. They are a terrifying modern fact that the deepest, quietest mountains can hide creatures that look like they are from another planet. This pale, silent ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often hiding in the simplest, most familiar places, waiting to be seen on the edge of the dark woods. The Taniwha. The Taniwha is a terrifying, huge creature from the history and spiritual beliefs of the Maori people of New Zealand. It is described as a massive, dark beast that lives in rivers, lakes, and the deep ocean, often appearing as a giant lizard, a huge shark, or a massive, aggressive serpent. The creature is seen as a powerful, terrifying guardian of the water, a force of nature that can destroy canoes and flood entire villages if angered. The belief in the Taniwha is so strong that the local people often divert roads and change construction plans to avoid disturbing the creature's lair. This historical and modern respect for the creature proves that the fear is very real and has tangible effects on the modern world. The creature's ability to change its physical form and its immense size make it completely unclassified by any known biological standards. It is a pure force of the ancient unknown. The Taniwha is unclassified because it is a creature that is both a physical monster and a powerful spiritual deity. It is a terrifying, living piece of deep local history, a creature that proves that the quiet, ancient islands of the world can still hide massive, shape-shifting secrets. This huge, silent guardian is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often the most powerful force in the world, waiting silently in the deep, dark water. The Minhocão. The Minhocão is a terrifying, massive creature from the history and folklore of Brazil and Argentina. It is described as a huge, giant earthworm or eel, often over 40 feet long and thick enough to be the size of a small car. The creature is said to live deep beneath the ground, burrowing huge trenches and tunnels as it moves, creating massive, terrifying scars on the landscape. This burrowing power makes it a truly unique monster. The historical accounts are incredibly consistent, with many farmers claiming to have seen the massive trenches and tunnels left behind by the creature as it moved beneath their fields. The creature is said to be capable of uprooting massive trees and destroying entire fence lines with its sheer size and power. The immense size and the deep underground habitat prove that a massive unknown invertebrate is truly thriving in the remote South American soil. The Minhocão is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known invertebrate biology. It is simply too large to be an earthworm. If it is a real animal, it means a completely unknown line of colossal underground life has evolved in isolation. This massive, silent burrower is a powerful piece of local history, a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is not just hiding in the water or the air, but is constantly moving silently right beneath your feet. The Blue Hole Monster of Belize. The Great Blue Hole, a massive, deep underwater sinkhole off the coast of Belize, is a place of deep, dark, silent mystery. Divers who have explored its terrifying depths report seeing massive, dark shadows and impossible shapes moving silently in the blackness, far too large to be any known fish or shark. The hole is a perfect, isolated archive for the evolution of unknown life. The most terrifying aspect of the blue hole is its complete lack of oxygen below a certain depth, which should make it impossible for large, complex life to survive. Yet the consistent reports of massive, shadowy figures moving silently in the dark depths suggest a creature has adapted to this impossible environment. The creature is said to be large and smooth, moving with a silent, terrifying grace that defies all known marine biology. The blue hole monster is unclassified because it is a creature that exists in a biological void, a terrifying massive ghost that has adapted to a place where life should not exist. This immense, silent shadow is a chilling reminder that the most terrifying unknowns are often hiding in the deepest, most quiet and impossible places on Earth, a creature that is waiting silently in the blackness of the water. The Chesapeake Bay serpent. The Chesapeake Bay, a large busy estuary on the east coast of the United States, is home to a massive serpentine creature known as the Chessie. It is described as a long, dark, smooth-skinned animal, over 30 feet long, with a head like a huge snake or a dragon. The creature is often seen moving with a strange, undulating motion near the surface of the water, a massive, impossible sight in such a well-travelled area. The most famous sighting was in 1982, when a family filmed the creature moving quickly in the bay, providing a blurry but compelling piece of modern historical evidence. The consistency of the smooth skin and the long, serpentine body proves that something unknown is truly living in the quiet, brackish water. The massive size of the creature is simply too large to be a known fish or seal, forcing scientists to scratch their heads. The Chessie is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known marine biology, a huge, silent serpent in a busy modern area. If it is real, it suggests a large, unknown aquatic reptile has adapted to the salty, muddy water of the bay. This long, dark ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often hiding in the most familiar places, waiting silently just beneath the surface of the water we cross every day. The Scrimsel, Icelandic serpent. In the quiet, deep rivers and coastal waters of Iceland, the local history is filled with terrifying accounts of a massive serpentine creature called the Scrimsel. It is described as a huge, long-bodied animal with a dark, scaly skin, a massive, frightening head, and a powerful, aggressive nature. The creature is often seen emerging from the cold, misty water, moving with a terrifying, powerful motion that creates huge waves. The belief in the Scrimsel is so strong that one local council offered a reward for anyone who could capture the creature, a modern historical fact that proves the seriousness of the local fear. The sheer size and the serpentine shape of the creature defy all known marine biology in the cold waters of Iceland. The remote, quiet location provides the perfect hidden archive for a creature of this size to thrive and remain completely unknown to science. The Scrimsel is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known cold water biology, a huge, aggressive serpent in a deep, cold environment. If it is real, it suggests a large, unknown aquatic reptile, or a huge, separate aquatic mammal has evolved in isolation in the quiet waters. This long, dark ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often hiding in the coldest, most desolate places, waiting silently beneath the misty surface. The Wolver. The Wolver is a strange, gentle creature from the quiet history and folklore of the Shetland Islands of Scotland. It is described as a human-wolf hybrid, a terrifying werewolf-like creature. But unlike the aggressive monsters, the Wolver is said to be a kind, gentle soul. It often leaves freshly caught fish on the doorsteps of poor families, acting as a secret, massive guardian of the islands. The Wolver is terrifying because it is a creature that is physically monstrous, but spiritually kind. It defies the simple rules of folklore, where all monsters are evil. The historical accounts of the creature, often found in local journals and old poems, describe a massive, hairy figure that is only seen when the moon is full, but its actions are always those of a helpful neighbour, not a deadly killer. The Wolver is unclassified because it is a creature that blends a terrifying physical form with a gentle, human spirit. It is a powerful, strange piece of a local history, a creature that proves that the terrifying unknown is not always dangerous. Sometimes it is just misunderstood and kind. This massive, gentle ghost is a chilling reminder that the quiet, isolated islands can hide the most unexpected and unclassified secrets of both biology and the spirit. The Tijeruk. The Tijeruk is a terrifying, massive, serpentine creature from the history and folklore of the Inupiat people of Alaska. It is described as a huge, long-bodied animal, over 30 feet long, with a snake-like head and a terrifying, powerful body. The creature is said to live in the deepest, darkest lakes and rivers and to have the power to pull fishermen and their canoes silently down into the freezing black water. The historical accounts are incredibly consistent, with many local people claiming to have seen the massive, powerful tracks of the creature near the water's edge. The immense size and the deep cold habitat prove that a massive unknown aquatic serpent is truly living in the remote Alaskan soil and water. The creature is often associated with the terrifying cold beauty of the water, a powerful, aggressive force of the unknown. The Tijeruk is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known cold water biology, a huge, silent serpent in a deep, cold environment. If it is real, it suggests a large, unknown aquatic reptile has adapted to the freezing, dark conditions. This long, dark ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often hiding in the coldest, most desolate places, waiting silently beneath the dark, freezing water to pull you down. The Pukwudgie. The Pukwudgie is a small, terrifying creature from the history and folklore of the Wampanoag Native American tribe of Massachusetts. It is described as a small grey humanoid figure, only 2 to 3 feet tall, with huge ears, a large nose, and long, bony fingers. The creature is said to be aggressive and mischievous, often playing dangerous pranks on people, like pushing them off cliffs or luring them into dark, dangerous swamps. The Pukwudgie is terrifying because it is small, but incredibly intelligent and powerful. It is said to have magical powers, like the ability to disappear and reappear in a flash of light, and the power to control the minds of animals. The historical accounts are incredibly consistent, with many different people claiming to have seen the small grey figure near the local swamps and dark, quiet forests. The Pukwudgie is unclassified because it is a creature that blends a small, physical humanoid with impossible, magical powers. It is a powerful, terrifying piece of local history, a creature that proves that the quiet, simple woods are still home to terrifying small secrets that science cannot explain. This small grey ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often hiding in the simplest places, a small, mischievous killer waiting silently in the dark. The Black Shuck. The Black Shuck is a terrifying, massive, demonic dog from the history and folklore of England, especially in the remote coastal areas. It is described as a massive black dog the size of a small pony, with huge, terrifying claws and eyes that glow with a powerful, burning red light. The creature is said to appear just before a terrible disaster or a sudden death, acting as a terrifying, aggressive omen. The most famous historical account is from 1577, when the creature burst into a local church during a massive thunderstorm, killing several people with its huge claws and lightning-fast speed. The terror was so real that the church door still has massive black scorch marks that are blamed on the creature's fiery breath or massive claws. This documented historical event proves the sheer physical power and fear associated with this creature. The Black Shuck is unclassified because it is a creature that blends a massive canine with a spiritual demonic force. It is a powerful, terrifying piece of local history, a creature that proves that the quiet, simple coastal areas can still hide massive, terrifying secrets that science cannot explain. This huge black ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often a physical, massive, aggressive force that acts as a terrifying omen. The Loveland Vortex Anomalies. The area around Loveland, Ohio is a place of deep historical high strangeness, where the Frogman and the Mothman were both sighted in the same small town. This concentration of impossible creatures suggests a local, unclassified phenomenon, a vortex where the veil between the known and the unknown is thin. The repeated sightings of impossible creatures proves that the area itself is a dark, powerful archive of the terrifying unknown. The terrifying fact is that 2 completely different types of impossible creatures, a small 4-foot-tall frogman and a huge 7-foot-tall winged mothman, were seen by police officers and locals in the same quiet area. This impossibility defies all normal biological explanation and suggests a localized, unclassified force is at work, a gateway where the impossible can appear at any moment, creating a local, terrifying history of the unexplained. The Loveland Vortex is unclassified because it is not a creature, but a terrifying force that allows impossible creatures to appear. It is a powerful, chilling piece of local history, a reminder that the terrifying unknown is often a quiet, powerful energy that can distort reality. This strange, unseen force is a chilling fact that the deepest, quietest parts of America are still home to gateways where the most terrifying, unclassified secrets can appear and vanish. The Pope Lick Trestle History. The history of the Pope Lick Trestle in Kentucky is filled with sad, true stories of people who have been tragically killed by trains while exploring the tracks. The monster's lure is a real force, and the sheer number of documented historical deaths linked to this specific piece of railway makes it a terrifying fact, regardless of the monster's physical existence. The place itself is cursed and unclassified by normal safety standards. The terrifying truth is that the local government has tried to fence off the area and put up massive clear warnings, but people are still drawn to the spot, leading to more tragic deaths. This powerful, silent lure of the trestle is an unclassified psychological force, a dark energy that the monster has woven into the very structure of the bridge. The continuous history of death proves that the physical danger is very real and very present. The Pope Lick Trestle is unclassified because it is a place that acts like a terrifying, aggressive monster. It is a powerful, chilling piece of local history, a place that proves that the terrifying unknown is often a quiet, powerful energy that can use the simplest structures to enact its terrible will. This dangerous, dark place is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often hiding in the simplest, most familiar structures we see every day. The mutilated livestock pattern. Across the world, especially in North and South America, there is a recurring, terrifying historical pattern of livestock being found dead in a strange, precise way. The animals are often completely drained of blood, with no clear struggle, and with strange surgical-like cuts around their eyes, ears, or mouths. This precise, clean pattern of mutilation defies all known predators, like coyotes or wolves, which are messy and violent. The consistency of this surgical precision is the terrifying, unclassified fact. The cuts are often made with intense heat, or a massive, unknown force that leaves no clear toolmark, suggesting a creature or a force that has access to impossible technology or biology. The historical accounts of this terrifying pattern stretch back decades, leaving a trail of clean, bloodless horror across remote farming communities in many different countries. The mutilated livestock pattern is unclassified because it is a terrifying action that cannot be linked to any known animal or human. It is a powerful, chilling piece of modern history, a terrifying fact that a creature or a force of immense power and precision is hunting silently in the dark. This clean, bloodless ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often a powerful, intelligent force that leaves behind no traces of its existence. The Siberian wild man sightings. In the huge, desolate and frozen taiga forests of Siberia, there are thousands of historical and modern sightings of a massive ape-like creature, similar to the Yeren and the Alma. The creature is described as standing over 7 feet tall, covered in thick, dark, shaggy hair, and moving with a terrifying, powerful walk that defies the deep snow. The vastness of the area provides the perfect hidden archive for this creature to survive, Soviet era. Scientists launched several secret expeditions to try and find the Siberian wild man, collecting hundreds of large, strange footprints and eyewitness accounts from remote logging camps. The creature is often described as being extremely intelligent and aggressive, capable of tearing down small cabins and frightening large groups of men. The immense size and the deep cold habitat prove that a massive unknown primate is truly living in the remote, quiet, frozen wastes. The Siberian wild man is unclassified because it is a creature that is simply too large and too strangely featured to be any known ape or bear. If it is real, it suggests a completely unknown hominid or a giant ape has managed to survive in isolation for millennia. This massive, hairy giant is a powerful piece of world history, a chilling reminder that the deepest, quietest and coldest places on Earth are the last archives for the world's most ancient, terrifying secrets. The Australian Hairy Man Cave. In 1996, in a remote part of Queensland, Australia, a local man claimed to have found a massive dark cave that was home to a family of yowies, the massive Australian ape man. He claimed the creatures were over 8 feet tall, covered in dark matted hair, and possessed a terrifying low roar. He even took a few blurry photographs and cast a massive footprint, adding a clear physical piece of evidence to the local history. The man described the cave as being filled with strange woven nests and huge, broken bones of large animals, proving that the creatures were powerful, aggressive predators. The footprints he cast were over 20 inches long, far too large to be any known human or ape. The entire incident was a terrifying physical encounter with a creature that science insists cannot exist, leaving a clear physical mark on the local landscape and the historical record. The Australian hairy man cave is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known primate biology, a massive, upright ape that has managed to survive in isolation. If it is real, it means the remote, quiet outback of Australia is the last archive for the world's most ancient, terrifying secrets. This massive, hairy ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often hiding in the simplest, most remote places on Earth, waiting in the dark. The Van Meter Bank Shadow. The history of the Van Meter visitor is filled with a unique, terrifying detail. The creature was often seen perched on the roof of the local bank, silently watching the town. This specific location, a place of stability and wealth, adds a strange, unclassified psychological layer to the creature's intent. Was it a simple predator, or was it a terrifying, intelligent ghost that was specifically observing the quiet town? The terrifying fact is that the creature was not hiding in the woods or the swamp. It was sitting in the most public, visible part of the town, acting with an unnatural confidence and intelligence. This choice of location defies all known animal behavior and suggests a creature that is either completely alien or has a terrifying hidden purpose. The bank shadow remains a chilling, unclassified psychological fact in the town's history. The Van Meter Bank Shadow is unclassified because it is a terrifying action that defies all known animal behavior. It is a powerful, chilling piece of local history, a creature that proves that the terrifying unknown is often a powerful, intelligent force that acts with a hidden purpose. This silent, terrifying shadow is a chilling reminder that the deepest secrets are often the ones that are hiding in the most public, visible places in the world. The Mongolian acid spitting. The Mongolian deathworm is famous for its terrifying, unclassified ability to spit a corrosive acid that can instantly kill its prey. This ability defies all known biological limits of a worm or a snake, and suggests a creature with impossible biological features. The local history is filled with accounts of animals and people who are killed by this terrifying, invisible force from a distance. The sheer, terrifying power of the creature's spit is an unclassified chemical force. If the creature is real, it means a simple desert worm has evolved the ability to use a biological weapon that is more powerful than any known venom. This impossible power is a terrifying physical fact that proves the deep, quiet deserts are the greatest archives for the world's most strange and powerful secrets, waiting silently beneath the hot sand. The Mongolian acid spitting is unclassified because it is a terrifying action that defies all known biology. It is a powerful, chilling piece of local history, a creature that proves that the terrifying unknown is often a powerful, silent force that can use the simplest actions to enact its terrible will. This terrifying, invisible weapon is a chilling reminder that the deepest secrets are often hiding in the simplest creatures we see every day. The Flatwoods Residue. The Flatwoods monster encounter in 1952 is cemented in history by a terrifying physical piece of evidence, the strange, oily residue found at the landing site on the hill. The residue was tested by a local journalist who found an unknown chemical element that could not be matched to any known oil or human substance. This physical, tangible fact proves that something strange and unclassified was truly present that night. The terrifying fact is that the residue was found at the exact spot where the monster was standing, proving that the creature itself was real and had a clear physical presence. The lack of clear explanation for the chemical makeup of the substance suggests a creature or a vehicle from a completely unknown origin. This physical residue is a terrifying, unclassified chemical fact that the brief appearance of the monster was not just a simple sighting. The Flatwoods residue is unclassified because it is a terrifying physical fact that defies all known chemical biology. It is a powerful, chilling piece of modern history, a creature that proves that the terrifying unknown is often a powerful physical force that leaves behind clear, undeniable evidence. This strange, oily ghost is a chilling reminder that the deepest secrets are often hiding in the smallest, most quiet pieces of evidence we find. The Congamato. The Congamato is a massive flying reptile from the history and folklore of Zambia and Angola in Africa. It is described as a huge, red, bat-like creature with a long beak full of sharp teeth and a massive wingspan. The creature is said to live in the deepest, thickest swamps and to have a terrifying love for attacking people and overturning small canoes in the dark water. The historical accounts are incredibly consistent, with many local people and explorers claiming to have seen the creature near the remote, quiet swamplands. The description is exactly like the ancient dinosaurs known as pterosaurs, a massive flying reptile we thought died out millions of years ago. The terrifying size and the immense power of the creature prove that a massive unknown reptile is truly flying in the dark. The Congamato is unclassified because it is a creature that is physically impossible by modern biological standards, a terrifying living dinosaur. If it is real, it means the remote, quiet swamps of Africa are the last archives for the world's most ancient, terrifying secrets. This massive red ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often a massive flying force that science cannot explain or capture. The sea pig, Scotia Sea. In the deepest, coldest parts of the Scotia Sea near the Antarctic, strange, huge, unclassified marine creatures have been sighted by deep-sea cameras. These sea pigs are described as pale, bulbous, large animals with long, thin tails and strange, fleshy fins. They are far too large and too strangely shaped to be any known deep-sea fish or invertebrate, making them a clear, modern fact of the unknown. The terrifying fact is that these creatures are seen in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, where life should be scarce and small. The immense size and the impossible pale colour suggest a creature that has evolved in complete isolation, far from the sun and far from human contact. The photographs and video footage from deep-sea submersibles are a modern historical fact that proves the ocean is still hiding massive, unclassified life. The sea pig is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known deep-sea biology, a huge silent ghost in the black water. If it is real, it means the coldest, deepest parts of the ocean are the greatest archives for the world's most impossible, terrifying secrets. This massive pale ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often hiding in the deepest, most quiet and impossible places on Earth. The white squall sea serpent. In 1893, the crew of the ship White Squall reported a terrifying encounter with a massive serpentine creature in the deep ocean. The creature was described as being over 50 feet long, with a massive head, a smooth, dark skin, and a long, winding body. The captain and all the crew signed a detailed historical report swearing that the creature was real and a massive danger to their small ship. The terrifying fact is that the creature was seen by trained professional sailors who were used to seeing strange things in the ocean. The sheer size and the impossible serpentine shape of the creature defy all known marine biology, suggesting a creature that is either a massive, unknown reptile or a new line of aquatic mammal. The historical account is a clear, powerful piece of evidence from the age of sail. The white squall sea serpent is unclassified because it is a creature that is physically impossible by modern biological standards, a terrifying, massive ghost from the age of sail. If it is real, it means the deep, dark ocean is the last archive for the world's most ancient, terrifying secrets. This huge, silent serpent is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often a massive, powerful force that is still waiting silently in the deep. The Lake Champlain monster, Champ Lake Champlain, a massive deep lake between New York and Vermont, is home to a massive serpentine creature known as Champ. It is described as a long, dark, smooth-skinned animal, over 30 feet long, with a head like a large horse or camel, and a long neck. It is often seen moving with a strange undulating motion, creating several humps in the water as it swims quickly across the deep, cold lake. The historical accounts stretch back to the 17th century, with many different people, including Samuel de Champlain, the lake's namesake, reporting clear sightings of the creature. The consistency of the humped body and the horse-like head is so strong that the local community has embraced the mystery. The immense size of the lake provides the perfect deep archive for a creature of this size to hide and remain completely unknown to science. Champ is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known freshwater biology, a huge, silent serpent in a deep, cold environment. If it is real, it suggests a large, unknown line of aquatic reptile or a huge, separate aquatic mammal has evolved in isolation in the deep, cold lake. This long-necked giant is a powerful piece of local history, a chilling reminder that the quiet, peaceful lakes can still hide massive, serpentine secrets. The Dover Demon's glowing eyes. The terrifying fact of the Dover Demon encounter is the detail of its glowing orange eyes. This feature, reported by all the witnesses, suggests a creature that is either completely alien or has a terrifying, unknown biological function. The eyes were said to pulse with a low internal light, a feature that is simply impossible for any known mammal or reptile. This small detail elevates the creature, from a simple mystery to a terrifying, unclassified anomaly. The terrifying fact is that the eyes were the only thing that stood out in the dark, focusing the fear and the terror onto a single strange feature. The glowing eyes suggest a creature that has no need for normal vision, relying on some other sense to navigate the dark woods. This unclassified biological feature proves that the terrifying unknown is often a quiet, powerful energy that can distort reality in the simplest ways. The Dover Demon's glowing eyes are unclassified because they are a terrifying biological fact that defies all known anatomy. It is a powerful, chilling piece of modern history, a creature that proves that the terrifying unknown is often a powerful, intelligent force that leaves behind small, impossible features. This silent, glowing ghost is a chilling reminder that the deepest secrets are often hiding in the smallest, most unique details. The Lake Kaya, Siberian monster. Lake Kaya, a remote cold lake in Siberia, is home to a massive serpentine creature that is often described as having dark, thick skin, a long neck, and a massive, terrifying head. The lake is so cold and so remote that it is a perfect, isolated archive for the evolution of unknown life. The creature is often seen moving with a strange, undulating motion in the water, a massive, impossible sight in such a remote area. The local people have deep historical beliefs in the creature, which they call the Devil of the Lake. Soviet-era scientists launched a brief expedition to the lake in the 1960s, collecting strange, massive bone fragments that could not be matched to any known fish or seal. This physical evidence, though inconclusive, proves that something massive and unclassified is truly living in the quiet, deep, cold water. The Lake Kaya monster is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known cold water biology, a huge, silent serpent in a deep, cold environment. If it is real, it suggests a large, unknown aquatic reptile has adapted to the freezing dark conditions. This long, dark ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often hiding in the coldest, most desolate places, waiting silently beneath the misty surface, the Tigum Tulu-Tlu. The Tigum, or Tulu-Tlu, is a terrifying, massive, unclassified reptile from the history and folklore of the Aboriginal people of Australia. It is described as a huge, long-necked creature with a massive snake-like body, standing upright on two legs like a massive, terrifying serpent. The creature is said to hunt and move with immense speed and power, defying all known modern biology in the remote, quiet outback. The historical accounts are incredibly detailed, with many indigenous people claiming to have seen the creature near remote waterholes. The description of a massive two-legged reptile is so consistent that it suggests a surviving theropod dinosaur, a creature we thought died out millions of years ago. The vast empty outback provides the perfect hidden archive for a creature of this size to avoid all human contact for centuries. The Tigum is unclassified because it is a creature that is physically impossible by modern biological standards, a terrifying living dinosaur. If it is real, it means the remote, quiet deserts of Australia are the last archives for the world's most ancient, terrifying secrets. This massive, upright killer is a chilling reminder that the empty places of the world can still hide creatures of impossible size and power, a massive ghost of prehistory that is still hunting today. The giant sea scorpion, historical. The giant sea scorpion, or Eurypterid, is a massive, terrifying marine creature that is scientifically known to have gone extinct hundreds of millions of years ago. However, there are a few isolated historical accounts from the 19th century of massive, segmented creatures that washed ashore, suggesting a few of these ancient titans may have survived in the deepest parts of the ocean. The huge size and the ancient segmented body make it a terrifying historical fact. The historical accounts are incredibly consistent, with many local people and sailors claiming to have seen the massive segmented body of the creature near the coast. The sheer size and the impossible segmented shape of the creature defy all known modern marine biology, suggesting a creature that is a powerful, unclassified link to the deepest past. The terrifying thought is that a creature from the age of giants may still be alive. The giant sea scorpion is unclassified because it is a creature that is scientifically known to be extinct, a terrifying living fossil. If it is real, it means the deep, dark ocean is the last archive for the world's most ancient, terrifying secrets. This massive, segmented ghost is a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is often a massive physical force that is still waiting silently in the deep, dark water. The giant worm of Vietnam. In the remote, deep jungles of Vietnam, local tribes and explorers have told stories of a massive terrestrial worm that is said to be over 40 feet long and thick enough to be the size of a small car. This terrifying giant worm is said to burrow huge trenches and tunnels as it moves, creating massive, terrifying scars on the landscape. The immense size and the deep underground habitat prove that a massive unknown invertebrate is truly thriving in the remote Asian soil. The historical accounts are incredibly consistent, with many farmers claiming to have seen the massive trenches and tunnels left behind by the creature as it moved beneath their fields. The creature is said to be capable of uprooting massive trees and destroying entire fence lines with its sheer size and power. The immense size and the deep underground habitat prove that a massive unknown invertebrate is truly thriving in the remote South American soil. The giant worm of Vietnam is unclassified because it is a creature that defies all known invertebrate biology. It is simply too large to be an earthworm. If it is a real animal, it means a completely unknown line of colossal underground life has evolved in isolation. This massive silent burrower is a powerful piece of local history, a chilling reminder that the terrifying unknown is not just hiding in the water or the air, but is constantly moving silently right beneath your feet. The vanishing globster DNA. The ultimate terrifying, unclassified fact comes from the globsters, the strange boneless masses that wash ashore. The most chilling detail is that when scientists finally analyze the DNA of these masses, they often find genetic markers that do not match anything known on Earth. This vanishing DNA is the final proof that the deep ocean is home to life so strange and so alien that we cannot even begin to classify it. The terrifying fact is that the physical evidence is right there on the beach, but the biological code that defines it is completely unknown. This genetic mystery proves that the deep ocean is a hidden archive of entirely separate evolution, a terrifying fact that science is only just beginning to grasp. The ocean is not just home to unknown species, it is home to completely unknown kinds of life that defy our entire tree of life. The vanishing globster DNA is unclassified because it is a biological code that is not from this world. It is a powerful, chilling piece of modern history, a physical fact that the terrifying unknown is often a quiet, invisible code that has the power to redefine all of human knowledge. This unclassified DNA is a chilling reminder that the deepest secrets are often the ones that are hiding in the simplest, most quiet forms. Sleepless whispers of the past. The archive is now quiet. 100 names, 100 strange shadows, and 100 impossible facts have settled around you. Classification is just a human word, a simple box we use to try and make sense of the wild, terrifying beauty of the world. Tonight, we have learned that the world holds far more mystery than we can ever map, measure, or name. The oldest stories were never just myths. They were reports from the edge of human knowledge. The unknown is still out there, and it is vast, silent, and wonderfully terrifying. Close your eyes, breathe deep, and let the echoes of these creatures carry you into the deepest, most peaceful sleep. Remember, the true secret of history is not what we know, but the vast, warm, and comforting darkness of what we still do not. Sweet dreams, traveller of the secrets that wait just beyond the light,